Collaboration between teachers and parents of students with special educational needs has become increasingly prevalent over recent years. Whether it is aimed in continuing professional development for teachers or for the benefits of the parents, collaboration seems to offer a realistic opportunity for reducing the perceived gap between them. However, collaboration is complex in nature and involves a range of requirements which must be fulfilled in order to maximize the potential of the relationship. In addition, often teachers and parents are not clear on the collaborative aspects, despite the fact that most educators and parents would agree that collaboration involves bringing people and groups together for a common purpose. Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. My name is Soila Muhammad, Program Associate of SEAMEO SEN, and on behalf of Training and Consultation Division of SEAMEO SEN, the participants from SEAMEO member countries, welcome to today's training session. Selamat datang to Holistic Approaches in Developing Collaboration Competencies among Teachers of Special Educational Needs. We at SEAMEO SEN are tremendously honored to have all of these esteemed speakers with us. Before we begin, allow me to give a shout out to the amazing team consists of the Head of Training and Consultation Division, Madam Monisha Ahmad Shah, Madam Mastura, Madam Harisha, as well as from Strategic Communication Unit, Mr. Haikal, Mr. Shabir, Ms. Fazli, Ms. Mizanina, Mr. Rusnedi, and Mr. Ashraf, who have been putting so much of effort in ensuring this training is in line with SEAMEO SEN's aims and objectives. Ladies and gentlemen, these training sessions would not have been materialized if it had not been for the great support and ideas from our very own Director of SEAMEO SEN, Dr. Hajah Hanani Harun Rasid. Dr. Hanani is extensively passionate about special education, and this topic today on holistic approaches in developing collaboration competencies among teachers of special educational needs is definitely close to her heart. With that, I am extremely honored to welcome Dr. Hajah Hanani Harun Rasid to deliver her opening remarks. Dr. Hanani, the floor is yours.
Assalamualaikum and a very good morning. Dr. Muhammad Azlisani Mat Jalil, Deputy Director of SEAMEO SEN, our Honourable Speaker, Dr. Kartini Ilyas, Senior Lecturer and Clinical Psychologist from Faculty of Health Sciences, University Technology Mara, Malaysia, and facilitators, Madam Ilya Wardani, parent of a child with special needs from Indonesia, Madam Ria Kanoi Carino, parent of a child with special needs from Philippines, Dr. Yao Zanghil, parent of a child with special needs from the United States of America, SEAMEO SEN Organizing Committee, and to all participants from SEAMEO member countries. I would like to welcome everyone to the online training titled Holistic Approaches in Developing Collaboration Competencies among Teachers of Special Educational Needs. My deepest appreciation for your interest and dedication to participate in this 3-day training course. It is ingrained in SEAMEO SEN's mission to enhance and promote quality education for learners with disabilities in Southeast Asia countries. In line with SEAMEO Priority Area 2, addressing barriers to inclusion, this time around SEAMEO SEN would like to highlight on developing collaboration competencies among special education teachers to strengthen teacher-parent relationship in supporting the needs of the learners. Ladies and gentlemen, it takes a village to raise a child. Collaborative efforts between teachers and parents appear to offer better educational services, develop partnerships, and consequently increase positive outcomes for learners across different ranges of disabilities. Parents are a vital link between home and school. Parental involvement in education has positive impacts on learners, especially learners with disabilities. The successful teacher-parent partnership can result in improved educational outcomes for learners. The establishment of teachers and parents partnership can be built through effective communication, which includes active listening, negotiating, and persuading. For example, teachers and parents can have an active communication with each other for sharing decision-making and ideas to plan the individualized education program, or IEP, and to discuss ways of improving learners' learning outcomes. This will help both teachers and parents to provide necessary support for learners at school and at home. I believe everyone here is interested to know more on how to develop competencies among teachers in building teacher-parent collaboration, as this topic is often not included in the curriculum for pre-service teacher training. And this online course is very special because we will bring in parents of learners with disabilities to be the facilitators to demonstrate the interaction between teachers and parents. It is hoped that this online training will enlighten special educational needs teachers and parents of learners with disabilities in having effective communication and strong partnerships. This effort will definitely help in enhancing children's social, emotional, and academic growth. I would like to take this opportunity to express my gratitude to the speaker, Dr. Kartini Ilyas, for sharing her expertise, and the facilitators, Madam Ilya Wardani, Madam Ria Kanoy Carino, and Dr. Yao Zamhil, in making this online course a success. I believe the sharing sessions will give insights to all participants on building close collaboration among teachers and parents. I wish you all an enjoyable and productive training session. All the best and Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam, Doctor. Thank you for your inspiring remarks. Yes, inshallah, Doctor. I'm sure our teachers for today will definitely engage and actively participate. Hope everyone is ready for these 3-day training sessions with our speaker. But before that, let us capture this wonderful moment together with all of the participants from all of the SEAMEO member countries: Malaysia, Cambodia, Thailand, Brunei, Indonesia, and Philippines. Turn on your camera, please, and put a beautiful smile on your face. I'm going to take a picture. Are you ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, one more. 1, 2, 3. And last one, freestyle, everybody. 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. But before I proceed with the training briefing, please allow me to share about our social media platform. Kindly follow us on our Facebook, Instagram for latest updates on our programs, and do subscribe to our YouTube channel for more videos of our events. Now I shall move on to the training briefing. As this briefing is highly significant for all participants, we hope you pay close attention. All right, I just want to make sure that all of you are listening. Can you please give a thumbs up in the chat box that you are here and actively listening before I proceed with the briefing? Let me see all of the thumbs up coming in the chat box. Are they all right? Thank you, Lizana. It's not uneasy. Can we have more? I just want to make sure all of you are listening to the course briefing before we begin. All right. Okay, keep them coming. Okay, firstly, there will be no attendance form. All right, so therefore, participants are required to change their usernames on screen with their full names as registered in MOE email so that our officers are able to take your attendance. And secondly, you are encouraged to engage or ask questions to the speakers in the chat box, but please be reminded to not use simplified words in your notes so that we can understand you better. Okay, as for certificate of attendance, okay, these will only be sent to participants who are in full attendance for the complete 3 days and have completed the participant form and evaluation questions. Okay, that will be sent at the 3rd day of the training session, the last day. And the e-certificate will be sent to participants through email that has been registered within 14 working days. And there's another one, certificate of excellence. Okay, for this, it will only be sent to participants who submit their action plan report with activities, photos related to the course within 2 months after the course ends. And this is also subject to review and approval from the head of training and consultation division as well as from the SEAMEO SEN director. For this, you can carry out your activities either in a small or large groups, and the sample of the action plan and report on execution will be shared through your registered email along with the evaluation link at the end of the training session. Okay, and for notes, some will be emailed to you at the end, while some will be shared to you throughout the training session. And for this also, I would like to remind that only participants with full attendance will receive the materials mentioned. And also, I would like to welcome our viewers on Facebook and YouTube. Hello, everybody. Good morning. Thank you for joining us on YouTube and Facebook. Okay, we hope you stay tuned until lunch hour because we'll be live streaming until 1 o'clock. And to our viewers on Facebook and YouTube, there will be no certificates given from SEAMEO SEN. Thank you all for your kind attention. Now, before we begin, I would like to remind you that here's the agenda. And for the first slot, the session will be from 9:30 a.m. till 10:30 a.m. Then we shall go for a short break at 10:30 a.m. until 10:45. And we shall come back for slot 2 at 10:45 before we head for our lunch break, which is at 1 until 2 p.m. all Malaysia time. And we shall then proceed with our afternoon activities and presentations, and we can come back. We shall finish by 4:30 today. And so for the representatives, I highly appreciate all of your great cooperation here for today's training session. All right, ladies and gentlemen, SEAMEO SEN is tremendously honored to have with us 4 distinguished speakers from Malaysia, Dr. Kartini Ilyas, Senior Lecturer of Health Psychology on UiTM Puncak Alam Campus. From Indonesia, Madam Ilya Wardani. From Philippines, Madam Ria Sereno, as well as from United States of America, Dr. Yao Zhang-Hill. Ladies and gentlemen, to all our respected participants, for our first day today, I am pleased to introduce our first speaker from Malaysia, Dr. Kartini Ilyas. Dr. Kartini Ilyas is a senior lecturer and a clinical psychologist in Faculty of Health Sciences, University Teknologi Mara Puncak Alam Selangor. She received her bachelor's degree in psychology from the International Islamic University Malaysia in 2004. Following her undergraduate career, she began as a teacher in the One-Stop Center for Special Children that cater to various kinds of special children such as Down syndrome, dyslexia, slow learners, and autism spectrum disorders. Her role was to develop the teaching syllabus, implementation of behavior modification, and handle the counseling sessions with the parents of children with special needs in the school. In 2008, she received her Master's of Clinical Psychology from National University Malaysia, and her master's dissertation was psychoeducational program for parents with special needs, for children with special needs. And she received her Doctorate of Philosophy from Monash University. And just want to share with you that her PhD research was in exploring the parenting stress and resilience among parents of children with autism spectrum disorder in the Malaysian context using a mixed method analysis. Dr. Kartini is an active member of Malaysian Society of Clinical Psychology or MSCP, and she practiced her clinical work in Pain Clinic Selayang Hospital in 2009 till 2011 and continue her clinical practice in the One-Stop Center for Special Children or CADC in 2013 till 2015. Dr. Kartini is also actively supervising the clinical and research fellow in Jenis Kurnia, an early intervention center for child autism in Malaysia. And her primary clinical and research interest is related to mental health and well-being. Specifically understanding the risk and protective factors such as psychosocial issues, education, family dynamic, economic status related to the individual with disabilities and their family across the culture. With that, we are extremely honored, ladies and gentlemen. Let us give a round of applause to Dr. Kartini, our first speaker for today. Dr. Kartini, Assalamualaikum. How are you?
Waalaikumsalam.
Welcome, Doctor.
Good morning, everyone. Okay, good morning. So thank you so much, Suhaila, for that introduction. So I think on behalf, I also would like to say thank you to the organizer committee for inviting me actually to be here. I'm excited to meet all the participants, yet the butterfly in my stomach as well this morning. So I think that is a normal reaction because we are human being, right? So Thank you so much, everyone, for being here. So I can see that the number of participants keep increasing. This morning, earlier, we got like 60, 70, 80, 90. And I've been informed by the organizer that it's around 160 participants, plus minus, that already enrolled for these courses. So this shows that we are really looking forward to learn about new skills, new knowledge, together. So, Arun Swastai, that is like good morning in Cambodia. Is there any Cambodian participants here? Is there anyone from Cambodia? You just can on, I think, to make it like, Shanti Siong. Yes, I am. Am I saying it correctly? Arun Swastai. I just like actually this morning. Oh, so this is the SEAMEO countries members. So we have like a different ways in greeting, in saying good morning. Magadang umaga. That's in Philippines. Am I pronounce it correctly? Magadang umaga. So how basically you reply when the same, because like if in a normal we say like good morning and we say good morning. So when we say magadang umaga, did you reply the same way? Yes, correct. Okay. All right. So that is some only like a few that I can I just like Google just now. All right. So thank you so much again, everyone, for being here. So I think Suhaila already read about my a little bit about my biography, about my education background, and so on. So it is actually to show that you have a valid speaker to give you like to talk or to discuss about this topic. So I think since we have like a big group or numbers of people, so to know each one of you is quite impossible. So but we need to break the ice. Okay, we still to break the ice. Okay, so I think I have asked the organizer to make a short a Google form, just to, because I need to know my background of audience. So in that way, it's quite easier for us to to talk, to discuss together. So maybe I would like to have Harisha to paste the link of the Google form. So I give you around not many questions for you to answer. So just a few about your background. So at least I can have some insight about the audience that I have today. Okay. So maybe Harisha already pasted the link. So maybe you can have around, I think, 1 or 2 minutes to fill out the Google form. Okay. Okay, while you are doing that, I would like to share my screen for our today's session, this morning session. Okay, so can you see my screens, by the way? Can I see like some response from all of you? Can you see my screen? Thank you, Jacko is done. Okay, thank you, Amani. Can, all right, that's awesome. All right. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. So these are basically the first topic that we are going to discuss for this morning session. So we are going to look into the importance of collaborative partnership between teachers and parents of special needs children. Okay. All right. So these are some of the ground rules for the session, and I think for the whole 3-day session. And in fact, I think Puan Suhaila already like mentioned it a bit earlier. So this is like because we are doing online, so there are certain things that we need to observe from both parties to make a session like more fruitful, Okay. Because I believe that you already enroll, you are looking forward to something. So, but the truth is, when we are doing online, there are other distraction. There are a lot of distractions around us, actually. So try your best, to come on, to come to our session on time. And definitely, I think all of you are here with the spirits to learn. Okay, and be respectful. Try to avoid all the distraction. Okay, and if possible, try to keep your camera on. Okay, even though we understand sometimes the difficulties, maybe because due to the internet connection and so on. But if possible, try to keep your camera on and mute yourself. But it doesn't mean that you cannot like speak at all. So I'm really encourage you just to unmute yourself if you would like to ask any question, if you'd like to give any input. Okay, you may raise your hand to notify me. Okay, and then doing the online courses, I really need participants to be active and to be engaged. So please expect some hands-on activity that we are going to do together. Okay, so that is disclaimer from the SEAMEO SEN. Okay, and I just add some information that below there. So what I'm going to do today is not the lecture based, even though I'm a lecturer, but I'm not going to give lecture for today, because I think the idea of SEAMEO SEN, of having me, is to share a different expertise and looking at my maybe the clinical experience, okay, the clinical session with parents, that I may add into knowledge that you have all this while, so that might add into new skills that we can impart, could be, okay, perhaps. Okay, and then if talking about experts, I think you are the experts in the education field. Okay, so I'm having like many experts today to share, so to share and to discuss. So we make it like more lively by sharing, the insight, sharing the opinion. So I'm not going to give a lecture base, rather this is more into intellectual discourse, so discussion mode. Okay, and sometimes the content that I might deliver is quite general, but we can modify, or you can modify, to suit the context and the setting of the members across the SEAMEO countries. Okay, so this will be the agenda for day one. So we're going to have around 1 hour from 1 hour from now, okay, for ice breaking and for some overview of collaborative partnership. And then we're going to have a tea break. Okay, I hope that you already have your own tea break. Okay, and then we are going to continue with the session 2. Okay, after that, and then after the lunch break, we are going to have the group interactive activity. Okay, so this will be the learning outcome for today, to understand what is collaborative partnership, okay, and to describe the importance of collaborative partnership, and to describe the barriers to successful collaboration and ways to manage it. All right. So before that, okay, while waiting Harisha to share with me some visual information about your background. So there is a link, or maybe Harisha also can paste a link in the chat box as well, the Padlet link. There are two questions to just share me your thoughts about your expectation for this training, and what are the terms that have been used in your current practice in regards to collaboration between parents and teachers. Okay, so we have like different members here from across the countries. So what are basically the terms that have been used? So there are two questions that you can share your reply or your response in the Padlet link. Harisha, shall you paste the Padlet link? All right. Thank you, Harisha. Okay, so you can go there, everyone. Mm. Okay. Did you manage to get there? To the Padlet link? Partnership, to recap all info and the letters info. All right, I already like getting in the response here. We can actually we just can do in a chat box, right? But I think being the educator, we try to equip ourselves as well with other ways to communicate with the technologies that you also may apply in your practice. Okay, new info. I have my knowledge about special education. Right, thank you so much for the response. I hope that more will be coming in the response. New knowledge. To gain new knowledge about special education. Collaboration. Partnership. PIBG. PIBG sounds familiar to me as well. Okay. WhatsApp call or online meeting. Okay. So to have more skills about special education, okay, I will improve my knowledge about special education. Okay, to get more info, to gain more knowledge and experience. So maybe we give around a few more minutes for this. While waiting for Harisha, I just want to see your background as well, your years of experience in teaching, alliance and partnership, collaboration, permuafakatan ibu bapa. Okay, PIBG. In your schools, basically, what has been used, what terms has been used to referring to parent and teacher collaboration? Like in Malaysia, I think the PIBG, Persatuan Ibu Bapa dan Guru, that is quite yeah, I think that is one of the, everyone knows it. Okay. Want to know the best practice, how to collaborate with parents and others and to improve special needs skills. Okay. Gotong royong. Okay. RPI. Maybe okay, rancangan pengajaran individu, RPI. Okay. PIBG inklusif pentaksiran bilik darjah, WhatsApp group during MCO. Okay. Okay, Harisha, you can share the screen now while waiting as well. Okay. Boleh Harisha share screen? And also please keep like give your response there. Okay, so if you can see here, just 65 responses. So I don't know, we have around 100 something, but I think maybe some of the participants haven't fill out the form, but I hope that it will be keep coming. Okay, Timor Leste, all right, so we have like around more, okay, 69, 17% lah, 70% male teachers here. Okay, and then around 11, okay, and 54 female teachers. But I guess there are other participants that hasn't filled out, kan? Right. How about country? Timor-Leste, Malaysia. Malaysia. Okay, so we have a lot from Philippines, okay, Thailand, and Cambodia. All right. So how about this one is about their occupation. So teachers, basically most of the participants are teachers. Okay, teachers. Officers, OT, we have OT as well here, right? And the duration of service. Okay, 1 to 2 years. Okay, I think most of the participants are 1 to 2 years. Okay, 3 to 5 years, 6 to 10 years, around 16. Okay, and then 11 to 15 years. Okay, that's quite. We can say that's quite senior in terms of service, and also we have around 15%, 60 years and above. Okay, 11. Okay, plus minus. Okay, thank you so much, Harisha.
You're welcome, Doctor.
So I can say we have a mix here, basically in the uh, participants that are still new, 1 to 2 years still new in service. Okay, and then we have 11. We can say that if you are 10 years in the service, it could be like, we can say that's already like senior. Okay. All right. So let's go to my screen again. But before that, let me go again to the Padlet to see is there any. All right, need to know if there any technology that can teacher use during PDPC, the technologies. Some are looking into technologies. I believe in the training, I can gain more insight and collaboration and competencies. For the term use, we use more on partnership and linkages to ensure that the learners' well-being are okay. Ashlyn, thank you, Ashlyn. All right. Kemenjadian. Right. Okay. Sarana ibu bapa. So I think that's among yeah, for Malaysian, I think that's family. That term is quite familiar to me as well. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for your response. Okay, going back here. So I can say that all of you here, whether you are already like seniors in your service or new in your service, what we are here with one intention is to seek and to refresh the knowledge. Okay, so having to say this, okay, maybe it's good for me to share my experience in the clinical setting. Okay, basically dealing with the parents, that experience I think might be beneficial for me to share with all of you. Okay, in this training. Okay, so if looking at my at the first when I got this invitation from SEAMEO SEN to give the training to the teachers, somehow I was thinking how basically I can integrate all the experience, all the knowledge that I have in a clinical setting to give to the teachers, to give to the audience in order for you to apply in your setting. Okay. If I think earlier when Puan Suhaila mentioned, I have experience being a teacher as well in my early career. So that was like my early career after graduate, very fresh graduates, and I became a special needs education teachers as well. Okay, that's in a special, basically it's a non-governmental organization that set up the schools. So that is my first experience dealing with parents actually. And I can say at that time, my role as a teacher, okay, but it is quite challenging to get the parents to involve. But somehow, because you are being in the non-organization, the NGO, non-governmental organization, and that center was set up by the parents themselves. So definitely the parents were there to support the children. So that's why we can see that their children, because they want to see the progress and the success to their children. Okay, but I think after that, okay, after I think that 2 years experience being the teachers, and then I just like I need to expand my knowledge and my skills. So that's why I further my studies to be a clinical psychologist. So talking about the practice as a clinical psychologist, so again, I'm dealing with parents, but in a different context. Okay, so now because becoming a clinician, becoming a psychologist, when you are dealing the parents, you can see more of not to say complaints, but they are basically sharing with you what are the constraints and the challenge that faced by them. Okay, so a lot of things that we will discover later on. Okay, and my clinical practice in Genius Cornea. So I'm a clinical psychologist in Genius Cornea. So when I started in 2018, okay, to be when GK asked the service of psychologists to be there in GK. So at that time, I still remember I went there in March 2018, and GK started to advertise there is a counseling session with a psychologist. Okay, I've waited for about March, April, May. I think until May, there is like no parents turn out for that counseling session because it was designed like once a week. I went there. Okay. So even though like I think the advertisement, it's being the information was given to all parents, but no parents turn out. Okay. So I still like patiently waiting for the parents to come to the session. And still remember in March, there are 3 parents that came to me. Okay, and then the first thing when they came to me, the first thing that they said to me that literally they said, I don't know why I'm here to see the psychologist, but definitely I'm not gila. Okay, so that's I think people have in their mind when you are seeing other professions like psychologists or counseling or counselors means that you're having something related to your mental health issues. So earlier, that's the remarks that I got from all parents. So I don't know why I'm here, but basically, but definitely I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy. So that's actually the like the remark, the first remark that was given to me. So, but after that, after the rapport has been built with the parents, now they started to share what are the challenges that they face. Okay, so the same, I think even like GK is an early intervention for kids with autism. Okay, so still there must be they needed the parents teacher collaboration to be there. Okay, and the fact that why they asked the psychology service to be there after like 3 years of operating, GK realized that, oh, why they already designed such a good intervention for the kids, but still some group of students are not progressing. We're not progressing. So, and they found out that after they analyze, so this group of students, they might, their parents, their family might face some difficulties in their lives or some challenge in their family life. So that's why they feel that maybe by giving support to the parents, other support like having a counseling session that may help the parents. Okay, so that's why I think GK started to have like psychologists to be there to give like more supports to parents, so at least they will go there and can share what are their challenges, what are the barriers that they face in terms of their kids intervention and so on. Okay, right. So that basically, and I think from there I started to realize there are a lot of changes. There are a lot of challenge actually that faced by parents. Okay, in regards to the kids, and some more like many things, many aspects that we need to consider when we talk about parents teachers collaboration. Okay, so the different terms, okay, that have been used, you also have shared with me just now, teacher parent collaboration. So it is actually, these are the term or the umbrella for these things lah. Okay, teacher and parents relationships. In some school, they use teachers parents alliance, association, parents involvement, and so on. So like in Malaysia, we are quite familiar with PIBG. Okay, there is one legal organization in the schools. Okay, a legal society in the schools that basically that bridge the school, the parents and the teachers, the schools. Okay, all right. And if we look, what does it implies? Okay, collaboration. We talk about collaboration is a process. Okay, for in this context, 2 or more parties are working together hand in hand to achieve a common objective and goal. Okay, so in this context, collaboration happen in everywhere actually, in the office, in organization. But now we are looking into collaboration in the school. Okay, to develop a collaboration between 2 parties. Okay, the teachers and the parents. Okay, and it's not really parents only that involved in the other parties. Okay, so of course the primary caregiver, we always look at the parents, but there are certain kids, it's not the primary caregiver is not parents, it's either their extended family, okay, datuk, nenek, okay, grandparents, okay, pakcik, makcik, and some of the um families, they have their helper, okay, maid is their primary caretaker for the kids. There are such instances as well that happen in school. Okay, so these two or more parties, they working together hand in hand to achieve a common objective or goal. And common objective and goal is definitely related to the child progress, to the child's success. Okay, in the context of special education needs, maybe we are not focusing more on the academic achievement. It's more on the progress of the kids, perhaps, okay, on the progress in terms of the social, emotional well-being of the kids or other social skills. So that are other components that we are looking at, that are the common objective or goal, okay, that we are looking at when talking about teacher parents collaboration in the special education needs. Okay, and the activities or event that being created, okay, or being designed, okay, that should be accomplished, through a partnership with parents and educators, okay, from the schools. Okay, sorry. Okay, and collaboration actually goes beyond telling the parents what are the progress, okay, what are the progress of your children, okay, in terms of certain aspects. Okay, it goes beyond that. It's actually a reflection of the practices and also exchange of knowledge. Okay, because you will have, I think even just now I managed to get some of the info. The social economic background could be one of the challenge as well when you want to do a parents teachers collaboration. Okay, so what are being practices in the school, we want it to be continued at home. Okay, it's look easy at the first place. Okay, by saying that you want to you ask the other party, can you continue the activity at home? But you never know after the kids step out from the school, okay, going back to the home, okay, what is actually happening in the home is not same as what's happening in the schools. Okay, in terms of environment, of course, are different, definitely different. Okay, and when we want to have an effective collaboration, of course, all parties must put effort. Okay, we want to achieve a similar goal. It's a common goal that we are looking at. We already designed, you already design or discuss with the parents in terms of the RPI, IEP, and you want this because you need to measure. On the teacher sides, you want it to be, you try to make it like objective in order for you to measure the progress. Okay, all right. So at the same time, but when you pass it to the parents, it could be they could be they could do it in a different way that might in the end the objective is not achievable. So there must be something need to be done, okay, in order before we go and discuss, before you come up with the objective. Of course the discussion with the parents must be like being done earlier, bicara with the parents. Okay, so if we look at the like the benefits of the parent-teacher collaboration, okay, based on the empirical findings, okay, it has been it showed, okay, it's very essential for the student success. And success here also could be defined differently when you are in a special education needs, when you have a special education needs children or students. Okay, success here is not referring to the success in academic. Okay, even though I know it's quite a challenge as well for teachers, because sometimes you have the school objective as well that you need to make sure it's achievable, or it's completed the objective, so it might be a challenge as well. So in the aspect of special education needs children, uh, talking about success, it could be different ways, okay, different aspects. The social skills, I think that the most important part that need to be look before you go into the academic achievement. Okay, and then of course there are a general consensus from the empirical findings, mentioned that illustrated that parents' involvement, okay, it's really um, important for the student success, okay, better outcome of the social skill development, student skills, abilities, and so on. Okay, in a typical children also it's important. Someone with the special education needs, it's double important actually to have a parents to sit together, or not only sitting together but doing it together with the teachers. Okay, and when we look into the parents' involvement or parents' participation with their children's education, okay, it can happen in two ways. Either in the activities that taking place in schools. So that's why I can say that previously some of you mentioned there is a permuafakatan, okay, like working together or gotong royong, that or other things that you come to support and that activities happen in schools. And there are also activities that taking place at home. Okay, so whatever have been planned in schools, so they go back and then they are continuing doing that at home. Okay, but looking at the ultimate aim, of course, is to make the children's educational goals achievable within the school and also outside the schools. Okay, and looking at this, these are some of the legal mandates that basically guide. This is basically in the Malaysian scenario, okay, that basically guide us towards the inclusive education and towards giving the right and equal education for the student with special needs children. Okay, so I think it's begin with the, when I read in the literature, it's begin with the signing of the Salamanca Statement, okay, in UNESCO, and then there are other acts, legal acts that come up in order to ensure that the inclusive education for the student with special needs being done in the countries. Okay, like Malaysia, okay, we also have the Malaysia Education Acts that basically guide us. And looking at Malaysia, so we in 2012, okay, the Malaysia Education Blueprint, okay, that basically was introduced in order to generate the major transformation and improvement in Malaysia's education system. Okay, and in Malaysia education blueprints, so there are 11 key shifts for transformation of change. Okay, including looking at also based on the current and also international best practice. Okay, so in the shift 9 was highlighted about partnership with parents. Okay, so community and also the private sectors, because we want the child to left behind, and with the participant of the parents, active partners, when school started to make parents or families as the active partners, that basically will give them, like that will help the schools, okay, to achieve what have been designed to the kids, and at the same time, helping parents as well to see more objective outcome for the children. Okay, so we can see that this has been highlighted, okay, for our country, that has been highlighted. So that's why I think this can be one of the legal mandates that can guide all the schools, in fact, to have the partnership with the parents. Okay, all right. But we also do understand some of the barriers, okay, for the parents teachers collaboration. So if you look at this slide.
Doctor, doctor, You're muted. We can't hear you.
Oh,
Yeah. You accidentally pressed the
sorry for that.
mic.
So, lama dah ke tak dengar Shaila? Is
No,
it
just a few seconds.
just a few seconds?
Yeah.
All right. So now we are moving into the barriers, actually looking at the barriers to parents, teachers collaboration. So if you look at this illustration, you can see these are the common scenarios actually happen when you, like design or when you organize the parents teachers meeting. I don't know how many parents, basically, if you can give some numbers or some percentage that basically turn up to the meeting. Can I see that? So basically, when you organize the parent teacher collaboration, does the parents normally like all the parents come to the session, or what are basically the numbers that you get when you organize this meeting? Can I see that in the chat room? Did all the parents turn up when you organize the parent teachers meeting in your school? This situation sometimes happens in schools. 70 to 80% attendance. Sadly, only 20%. Half of the total numbers. 70%. How about from other countries? Maybe you can share perhaps 70%, only 70%. Okay, 45 to 54%. About 90% parents attend. Okay, only 40%. 50 to 70%. 50%. 20 to 30%. 50%. Okay. All right. 80%, 70%, 50%. Yes, but only one of the parent came, but never came with their partner. 40%, 60%. So who normally came to the session? Mothers, mother. Yeah, both. Most mothers. I still can't see the word father. Sister, mother, sometimes father, mother and representative guardians. My school mostly fathers. Wow, Farah, fathers came. It's quite interesting to see as well the dynamic when the parents. It could be like a different dynamics when the mother came and the father came. Okay, both mother and grandpa, mother. All right, thank you so much for the response. But okay, so these are the common scenarios or common, not to say excuses, but the common reasons that they give to teachers as well. Okay, because they are busy parents, so that sometimes they cannot make it to the IEP open day and so on, or sometimes because they do not have transportation. Okay, and maybe sometimes the other parties cannot take leave. Father cannot take leave, so they can't really come to the session. Does it like consensus reasons? If I can see like some of our members response, what are normally responses that was given to the teachers if they can't attend the IEP meeting or whatever you call the parent teacher meetings and so on? What are normally the common reasons for it? Okay, due to working. Okay, work, busy with work. work. Mm. Transportation, working, outstation. Okay, transportation and working. Or kuih orang tempah because of working as well. You know, like sometimes you have like you need to find money for surviving. Nature of their jobs, working. All right, so I can get most of it. I can say that 50% lah. 50% of the attendance only that parents came overall. Okay, and then so I can see like when Anis reply, even though they maybe parents cannot come, teachers also make effort to call parents, but they didn't reply call and WhatsApp. So what else do you think teachers can do? All right, that's what we will be discussing later. Cannot leave the office, working, transportation. Looks like these are the common responses or the common reasons that was given by the parents. Working, transportation, busy, and so on. And I believe teachers also have taken steps in maybe like call the parents. Sometimes you cannot like get the reply, or even when you call also they will say that, oh, so sorry that I cannot make it because I'm busy. All right, so and to make another arrangement, that will be taken time for the school as well, right? Because we understand. I went to the schools, to the PPKI, and I saw how basically the time and the schedule of the teacher is just quite packed. So that's why you have designated one day for parents and teachers meeting. But if the parents cannot make it during that day, it might be difficult for you. But I believe that all of you here, different schools, they have like different ways lah in tackling those issues. I always miss info, even teacher info earlier. Don't look at WhatsApp group. Call even didn't pick up. We busy handling other task assignments and club work. All right. So okay. So I think you have given the some of the from your perspective and from what you experience. So these are some of the common response from the parents. Okay, so I think it's actually again the self check that we would like to do, but I think we already doing here. So there are some of the potential barriers to parent teachers collaboration. Okay, so you find out most of the parents, they are, I think, common reason that have been given to the teachers is due to the nature of their working, busy, and so on. So from there, it's already like put, like one wall for you to go like further in discussing, because I think the first step you have made to make them to come and to discuss, but there is already like one wall have been put there for you to go more and further in discussing about activities and in fact programs that you would like to do to their children. Okay. So these are based on the studies and based on the empirical findings. Okay, so these are also some of the potential barriers that are commonly cited. Okay, do not have enough time. Okay, childcare problems, not available during the school's time, the time that school have set up or scheduled the meeting, and they do not have the transportation to go to school for the meeting. And some parents, they just feel that they have nothing to contribute, right? Have you find that kind of like that group of parents, they just feel like, I already sent my kids to school, so why I need to be involved? I think that is the mentality that a group of parents have, because it's just like we go to see the doctors, the doctors need to treat us. So I think that mentality that we have in regards to our healthcare. So in the school, like in the school setting as well, there are a group of parents that feel like that. Okay, and some of them, they just do not know, okay, what to get involved. Okay, and then some parents cited or expressed that they do not feel welcome at school, or sometimes they feel intimidated. Okay, and not to be denied the language and also the cultural differences. Even when we look at our countries in Malaysia, we have different ethnicity. Sometimes that cultural and also language differences also occur in our practices. Okay, so if we try to put into themes for these potential barriers, so these are the possible themes that could be can we say for that potential barriers. Okay, because lack of knowledge at the first place, lack of knowledge in terms of the child disabilities. Okay, there are a lot of things. Upon knowing the child have certain disabilities, not all parents have knowledge at the first place. Okay, what's happening to my children? And in fact, if we as a teachers as well, if you put yourself, or if you reflect yourself as a teachers, you have a variety disabilities, child with disabilities or special education needs children's in your classroom. Okay, so for you like to know everyone, to understand about the disabilities, is also take time. Same goes to the parent as well. So they have lack of knowledge in terms of what happening to their child. Okay, all right. Some, because they are struggling with a lot of things as well. Okay, which we will look later on. And low literacy. Okay, low literacy. There are a group of parents exist with a low literacy. So these are the real barriers that we have over there. Okay, and in terms of communication, okay, lack of communication. It's happened because at the first place we already designed to have a face-to-face meeting. On the teacher sides, you are looking forward to meet the parent to discuss, okay, to interact with the parents face-to-face, but they can't make it. And I think every one of us, either in the teacher's part or in the parents' parts, everyone is quite busy and tight with the schedules. Okay, to rearrange the parent-teachers meeting, it will be, sometimes it's not possible to do it again due to the schedules of the school and so on. And sometimes we try to communicate via WhatsApp, okay, messaging or phone calls, which actually also there will be a barriers in communication over there. Sometimes when you write a message, it has been read in a different tones and in different tones and intonation by the other parties, which is not that way. It's not the intention of the teachers at the first place. Okay, so lack of communication happened there. Okay, and some parents feel that lack of respect. Lack of respect also happen from both parties. Sometimes teachers also have perception that they have lack of respect from the parents, and parents also sometimes feel that they have lack of respect from the teachers. Okay, so these are the real barriers or the real challenge for both parties actually. Okay, and language and cultural differences. So this happen out there. So okay, even like in our Malaysian country as well, we have like different ethnicity that's happened. So when you have like like the parents from different ethnicity, their cultural different, their cultural practice at home is different, so it's quite a challenge as well. So these are some of the potential, and these are the real barriers that happening there, okay, that exist in the system. Okay, on the other sides, okay, some teachers also show some reluctance, to involve with parents. Okay, this reluctance is not due to the attitudes. Okay, not merely due to the attitudes, but this reluctance due to many things. Okay, so these are the real findings from the studies. Okay, where it shows that some teachers feel it takes too much time and organization. It's correct, right? To arrange for parents-teacher meeting, it will take times for you to arrange for it, and on the real day, we can see how the teachers and the school basically go about it. Okay, and parents may not agree with the teacher's method. And sometimes when you explain to the parents, they might not agree with what you have said about the children. So that is very important to find the skills or to learn the skills, how basically for both parties, can come to one common goals or objective, to agree, to have consensus of what have been told to them. Okay, and parents are unsure of teachers are unsure of parents' expectations. Okay, so expectation. So these are basically, if you look here at the first place, these are some of the reasons that on the teachers' side as well, they felt a bit difficult when come to the parents and teachers collaboration. Okay, communication skills. Okay, and then their unrealistic perception of their children's knowledge. We already touched about it. Okay, and there are some parents are become more dominant in the classroom, so it's quite a challenge actually for teachers to manage those kind of things, okay, where sometimes the real lack of administrative support as well from the schools. So I went to the schools, and then there are some basically sharing from the teachers where the administrative in the school as well is not given enough support for them. Okay, and lack of the facilities in the school. So these are it just not because of attitude of the teachers, but it's a real actually things that happen that makes teachers also have some feeling of reluctance when come to collaborating with the teachers, with the parents. Okay, so these are the things that we would like to reach out. Okay, reaching out to the parents and breaking down the barriers. So I think these are the inputs that we have. So since we are here today, so we have different, even Malaysia, we have a different school and practice. So I believe this is the best platform for us to discuss. So what are basically ways or strategies that we can imply in order to overcome the potential barriers for the teacher and family relationship. But for this one, we were going to do during our the group activity in the afternoon. Okay. All right. All right. So am I quite okay? I think it's just just nice for the introduction. So we I think we have around 15 more minutes for before 10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We have approximately 15 minutes, doctor, before we go for a break.
15 minutes.
Yeah.
All right. So maybe I can just open to Q&A or any
Sure.
sharing from the participants regarding these things.
Okay, if any of the participants would like to speak to doctor, can you please raise your hand and turn on your camera so we can spotlight you and you can communicate with Dr. Fatini.
Okay.
Raise your hand, yeah. And turn on the
Yeah.
camera.
I just want I take sometimes also to check the Padlet here on the self chat about the barriers. Okay, socioeconomic status, level of education, background of the family, insufficient knowledge from the family, lack of awareness of parents in special education. So I think many of the teachers here also stated that awareness to the nature of disability of the children also is one of the common reason or is one of the, I think, one of the potential barriers actually to the parents teachers collaboration. Okay, because I believe that you have experience meeting with the parents that even still in denial for a long time about the child's disability. In fact, the child already being in the school, in the PPKI, they are still having that denial kind of thing where we would like to discuss later on in our second session. Keep financial stability and different working hours commitments. If we can see here, we can see that the main or I think the among the themes, the biggest themes that have stated here is regarding the working. Okay, work, right? Communication always hard in my school, right? I would love to hear in what way basically this communication become harder in your setting basically. Is anyone that, because here we can, it's only like in the Padlet is anonymous, so I can see like who respond to this. I may stop sharing this one first. I may go to the Padlet. Maybe I can show the Padlet. But is anyone have any question? I think you just like can stop sharing that. Okay, so this is how it's looked in the Padlet respond here. All right. So I would like to love about the communication part, because I can see here as well a lot of response about miscommunication or communication always hard in my school. Actually, who's written this? It's really great if I can hear some insight from you, from your setting. Anyone? Status quo, social stigma. Yeah, stigma, lack of understanding. Okay. Can I just want to know this like basically who wrote this one? Please do not shy. I think we are same here. We are coming here to seek knowledge, to share, to discuss. So I think it's good if you can share more about how basically communication always hard in the school, in your school. Can you on your mic? Okay. All right. So in the chat box as well, there are still like response there. Some maybe not responding in the Padlet, some respond in the chat box. Okay, let me pick up some of the real barriers that faced by the teachers. Okay, there are some parents that just like literally said, it's hard for them to make it during the weekend, right? And sometimes parenting that teachers are responsible to fix all their child disabilities, even when the child poop, they want to cooperate with the teachers, so they are misunderstanding about the teacher's job scope in the class. Right? Parents rely on teachers to do everything. Language barriers is real. Chinese parents more comfortable to talk to Chinese teachers, but we even don't have many Chinese teachers in the special need, so the information is not delivered to the other parties. Okay, even I think when we talk about the language barriers, even in my practice as a clinician as well, it is true sometimes when we have a Chinese client or Indian client, they are preferably to meet, the clinician with the same ethnicity. Okay, so I think it's not because of like biasness or what, but I think they are more comfortable to converse in their own language to say about the problems lah. Okay, all right. So Mageswari, I think normally I will ask my Chinese friend to translate the info and make sure they got the right info. So I think that's the effort that have been take out by the teachers, okay, to have like other people to come in. But sometimes it's depending as well. Kan? If you do have it, then you able to do it. But sometimes not all of your friends are available to do that for you or to be there during the meeting. Right. All right. This is good. A question from Rizalite. I don't know whether I'm pronouncing your name correct. I hope that I correctly pronounce your name. Most of the parents are in denial stage. How are we going to do with the situation? Okay, so these are what we are going to discuss after our break. So we are going to look and understand about the parents, how the parents struggles or emotional reactions to disability. All right. How to encourage parents to have more collaboration with teachers, because most of the time they are refused to communicate with the teachers. So Zahurin, thank you so much for your questions. So I hope that throughout, we haven't get the answers right now. So we have like another 3 more days to go. But by the end, because there is like no like exact answers or like solid answers for the questions, because as I said, a lot of things happening, and the parents teachers collaboration is a dynamic relationship. Actually, it's happening, and there are a lot of other things as well that come along that might hinder the efficiency of the relationship. Okay, but well, hopefully Zahurin, by the end of the online course, you will get some answers for your questions. Okay, has high expectation. Normally parents high expectation. In 2 months, their child can read and speak well. As we normally, child also take time. All right. So Rushni, when parents come to you with that high expectation, so how basically for us to handle it? Okay? We must have like some skills, negotiation skills, to make parents feel or think about what is actually the realistic expectation for the child. Okay. All right. So, is there anyone who would like to on the mic? I would love to hear your voice as well. And in that sense, okay, I know that all of you are here, but if you like talk to me, like communicate with me, it will make the session like more happening, more happening. Because like doing the online courses, sometimes I always feel that I'm talking alone, even though I can see like many participants are here. So try your best to engage. And since we still have time before 10:30, so I would like to, like to hear your voice. You can just like on your mic and ask question and share insight, in fact. So we try to break the barriers as well. So I'm not here because I'm like I know more, or I know better than you, but I'm here is basically to share my experience and knowledge. You are experts in your field, education. Maybe you have like more experience that you can also like share with me.
I think they are still shy, doctor, because
Thank you, Dr. Yao. You are here.
Hi,
So I
Doctor.
think, yeah.
Hi, Dr.
Oh,
Hira.
hi, Dr. Martini, Elias. Yeah, I'm just saying, hearing your presentation just make me feel there's seems to be a bigger problem than just individual teacher and parenting problem.
True.
Because here in the United States, parents actually were given like a paid hours to go to parent teacher conference.
Paid hours?
Yeah, at least it's a leave that's certainly allowed. I mean, some organization allow it like a paid hour. Some organizations allow it with unpaid, but it's the expectation that your boss will grant you the vacation time for you to go to these meetings. So I definitely think as an organization, speaking to the leaders in this room and the leaders in the organization, this would be something that we probably think about pushing the policy change at the government level to promote or reward companies, organizations that allow the teacher parenting time to be allowed leave, paid or unpaid.
And if I may ask you, in that sense, so you can see like more in terms of like parents teacher collaboration, like more effective in that way, right?
Yeah, definitely. So for example, for my kids' school, we don't have parent-teacher conference, so-called. We call it student-led vision planning. What it is the school has 5 vision elements, such as creative problem solver, or collaborator, or responsible citizen, whatever. And then the students will go in and then present their evidence of whether they met this vision and their goal and what they're going to do to improve in one or more of these vision elements. And then the students is going to show the parents, do a tour of the classroom demonstrating their work. It's all like the school that my kids went to is pretty good. It's all project based, so you can see the students' products. So, and I see whenever I go, you have to sign up. So when I sign up, I just see like all these slots are taken. So that says to me that many parents, if not all parents, are involved and they go to these sessions. Then again, the area that we live in, it's pretty, like most of the parents for the kids, they are university professors. They work at university or they work at the government. So they might have some more, well-off than other parents in other regions that I'm not very familiar with. So it's maybe a special case, but I definitely see that more parents are actively involved.
Wow, thank you so much for your sharing. And I think that actually, of course, that's a great, I think, initiative taken by the system over there. I know that sometimes, with the system, it is one of the things that hinders, teachers and parents. Yeah, that's the real things.
A lot of, I'm just very inspired by the obstacles that you listed as what the teacher feels. If I'm an individual teacher, I would certainly can see how a teacher would feel those ways. And those are just totally, especially when you're dealing with, parents from different ethnic and cultural and language background. And for example, I'm Chinese. I can totally see how Chinese parents are having those expectations of their children because they're international. We're here at the international school, right? But so one thing that at my kids' school is doing is that the teacher almost, especially in individual education plan meetings, the teacher was never alone. It's always a team-based approach. So the teacher itself doesn't have to be like facing the parents alone, and they present the information in such a way, they frame the environment of the conversation as a collaborative problem-solving process. So I think in that sense, it can ease some of the teacher's anxiety because the classroom teacher is there, then the special ed teacher for that grade is there, the dean of student affairs is there, and associate chancellor or a provost or the head of the school is there. So it's a team, and the school counselor is there. So whenever there is a IEP meeting, you see the parents see a team. The team is open for parents' input, but an individual teacher never have to face the parents alone. And I find maybe that could be one of the approaches that school leaders, again, all these challenges, individual teachers cannot solve them alone. Many of them are just the system solutions. Need systematic solutions.
So I think, it's quite hard, I think, but I think to have that practice, it will be like the great one. But at least I think what the best that we can do at the moment, like to equip ourselves with, like other skills and knowledge, at least, just like to compensate what the barriers with the system. So at least, as you said, when you are skillful, when you have other knowledge, it will ease your anxiety. So at the first place, So at least you feel like more confidence of doing it. Yeah, at your within your own context.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
definitely there's a communication strategies, as you said. It's very important.
Yeah.
Yep.
The
Thank
combination.
you.
Awesome.
Dr.
Thank
Hill.
you. Thank you, Dr. Hill, for your insights, Doctor. So for your information, Dr. Hill will be another speaker for the third day, and she's already here joining us today. So we really appreciate that insight from you as well. We're going to go for a short break after this. Dr. Kartina, I do have a question for you. Maybe you can answer this after the break. Will there be, is there a difference between the challenges, when we talk about challenges, are there difference between parents or teachers in the rural areas as urban areas? I mean, how can teachers or parents come up with a solution or an ideal solution for them despite their differences in being in rural or urban areas? I would like to find out more on that because I'm sure the teachers here as well, coming from all countries in Southeast Asia, I'm sure they encounter many challenges as well. So we look forward to coming back to talking to you, Doctor. So we'll take a short break and we'll see you at 10:45, everybody. See you. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks again, Dr. Hill.
Mm-mm.
Tak lah kat bio ni. Yang aura yang juga komen. Ya, tu umur apa? 24.
Hello. Assalamualaikum. Welcome back. Hi, participants.
Hello, testing mic.
Hi. Assalamualaikum.
Waalaikumsalam, testing mic.
Before we begin, before Dr. Kartini take over the session, I just want to know, where are you from? Can you please share with me in the chat box where you're from, which state or which country you're from? Just want to get to know.
Hello, testing mic.
Hi, Dr. Kartini. So just
Hello.
want to chat with them. Are they here? Can they hear me? Oh, from Philippines, Mabuhay. Thank you for joining us. East Malaysia. Apa khabar, Puan? Malaysia. Assalamualaikum. Philippines, KL. What's up, KL? Sabah, bah. Selangor, Sabah, Philippines. Wow. Penang. That's my hometown. My hometown is in Penang. Good honor. Hello. Negeri Sembilan, Penang, Sabah, Johor, Cambodia, Sarawak, Waalaikumsalam, Bachok Kelantan, Natasha Thailand, Sawadika. Alright, Kedah, Philippines, Perak, Kedah, wah, Macang. Everyone is doing well there. Looks like they are very actively engaging now. So it's good to see. It's good to see all of you are with us, actively engaging and listening. So Dr. Kartini, if you're ready, I shall hand over back the session to you. Okay.
Right. Okay.
Okay, Doctor.
All right. Thank you so much. And still here, everyone. All right. Just. All right. You can see Catherine. Hi, Catherine. You can see you on your camera. So you're from Philippines? No?
Yes, I'm
Surashi Chatpuan from Thailand. I'm making the guessing.
From Thailand.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, Doctor.
See? And Puan Zabaria daripada mana ya? Mungkin tak unmute. Hi Heidi, Philippines. Heidi, Samawi.
Yes.
And Cik Fauzi daripada Melaka. Cik Fauzi.
Ya, saya dari Melaka.
Anis Amani. Yes, some of you that on your camera and I just like.
Zabaria tadi dari Kelantan.
Okay, Puan. Kelantan kat kampung saya.
Oh.
I'm from Kelantan too. All right.
Orang kampung Kelantan.
Pat Sakon. Thailand, is that? Really Zet, is that? Really Zet? Am I pronouncing your name correctly? Philippines? I'm from Philippines?
Yes, Podong.
Magas? Hi, Magas.
Hi, Puan. Hi, Doctor.
Daripada sekolah mana, Magas?
I'm from SMK Sri Perak, Paribunta, Perak.
I see. Okay. Princess May from Philippines?
Yes, hello, good morning.
Morning. Tomato. Hi, Tomato. Farhani Izzati. Farhani, daripada sekolah mana, Farhani?
Sekolah SMK Datuk Permaisuri, Sarawak.
Oh, Sarawak. But you're not Sarawakian.
No.
All right. So I think it's interesting to know how basically you survive over there. But I think after we will get back to Puan Suhaila's question. Nada Sofa? Daripada sekolah mana?
SK Manting, Negeri Sembilan.
Manting Negeri Sembilan. Okay. Alright. Okay. So getting like many like opening the camera. So now it's like more lively and I can see that semua ada di sini bersama saya. Okay, with me. So Shafinas, Fatimah, Adila, Arisha, Hanani, Jackus from Philippines.
From Cebu,
Oh,
Sarawak.
Cebu, Sarawak.
Yes.
Oh, Cebu, Sarawak. Okay, Azira, Azila, Chompui, Azhar, Kavake, Erlin. Right, Hema Malini. All right, thank you so much, everyone. So let's get back to our session. So in the second session, I would like to share with you about understanding the family, okay, with special education needs children, okay. So maybe in the context of education, we use the terms of SEN, okay, but a normal, I think in the context of like clinicals, normally we use the special needs children and so on lah. So that's the different terms. I might be use this term like interchangeably. All right, let's have a look at the slides. But I think maybe we can have a bit we can respond a bit to the question that posed by Puan Suhaila just now about rural and urban. And in fact here there are urban areas and there are some of the teachers as here from the rural areas. So definitely there is a differences. Definitely that differences could be due to the lack of resources in terms of like teachers, you know, the teachers that you have in fact in terms of facilities. Based on my experience, I went to Sabah, okay, for the study on the in Malaysia we say MBK, murid berkeperluan khas, with the special education needs children as well. So looking at the differences compared to like, you know, like KL, Selangor, of course in terms of facilities you can see that lacking in the rural areas and so on. So I think I really salute actually all the special education needs teachers, seriously, because this is my own experience went to schools. We can see that teachers that put a lot of effort, even extra effort. Some teachers, they just like do a collection just to build maybe a therapy room in the schools because they do not have that facilities in the school, or they do not have the space, or they just like try to convert the space. Yes, the latest term. Thank you so much for that updates. Latest term is MBPK, murid berkeperluan pendidikan khas. Okay, there are a lot of terms change as well happening in Malaysia. Sometimes tak sempat nak pick up with all the change. Okay, but that's very I think informative. The latest term in Malaysia, we are using the MBPK, murid berkeperluan pendidikan khas. Okay, but going back to what I mentioned just now, so when I still remember I went to Sabah, I cannot remember which school, but of course there are lack of facilities in the schools. But what basically the teachers do, they just like make use of whatever they have, and they convert it into a therapy rooms. That's the effort from the teachers. So that's why I think when Dr. Hill just now highlighted about the systems, so that actually the main barriers, the main wall that hinder most of us to go to grow further in this field. So the system that basically quite difficult to break, to break that barriers. But as I said, what we can do, the best that we can do, just to instill ourselves, to upgrade ourselves with the skills and knowledge, in order for us at least to have a satisfaction. We feel content with whatever we do with the children, because I believe that I always feel that teachers in the special education needs, they have a special hearts, because if they do not have a special hearts, they cannot, they cannot be there. They cannot really like work with the children. Okay. as I said, going back to my story just now, went to Sabah, so that school is quite in the rural areas, so the lacks of facilities, in fact, lacks of teachers. But I think in the small communities in the school, they still make use of whatever they have in the school. Okay, they try their best to fulfill or try their best to develop or to do whatever that can fit the children's needs. And talking about when I asked, we also did ask about how about the parents' collaboration or parents' participation or involvement with regards to the children. I think what the best that they can do is just to see what actually work for the children in that situation. Okay, because and this is like going back to the expectation at the earliest stage. Okay, so because if you go to the rural, sometimes they live, their what they live is like for they survive for their living, in fact. So I think some of the parents, most of the parents actually, when they send the children to the schools, they just feel that from the kids doesn't get anything at home, so it's better for them to send to the school. So they always feel what teachers do to their children is already enough. So that is, I think, the expectation that parents in rural areas have. So at least their children get something when they go to the schools. So they do not have higher expectation, in fact, for the children. But compared to when you are in the urban area, so sometimes there is a clash in terms of expectation due to the stress that you have around you as well. Okay, so that may be some of the scenarios that I have come across in terms of like students or student with education needs in the rural and also the urban areas. Okay, so I think but the basic of it is the expectation of the parents as well. Okay, in terms of the child's progress, child's education, and so on. Okay, I hope that you get some insight from it, Puan Sahila.
Yes, definitely, Doctor. Thank you so much.
All right, so let's have a look at the. Okay, for this one, all right, so now we are moving into understanding. Our second session is about understanding the family with special education needs children. Okay, so these are the learning outcome to understand the emotional reactions of the family in responding to the special education needs children. Okay, and then acknowledge some of the challenges that families with special education SEN children may experience, and to explore the effective strategies for interacting positively with the families of SEN and providing them with the involvement opportunities. Okay, so you can go to that Padlet or you can answer in the chat box. So what basically at the first place that you like to know about the families of children with disabilities? What basically you would like to know about them, but maybe you do not have like opportunity to know about them. I have posted in the Padlet as well, or you also can start to share your answer in the chat box as well. Parents' education level, background, siblings, financial. Their acceptance towards their children's disabilities. Or can I have the link to the Padlet? Maybe you can, Harisha can help me to paste it again. Relationship between members, family background, parents' characters, family relationship, their financial and understanding on their children condition. Okay, Harisha has pasted the link for Padlet. Financial issues, family background. I think, oh, I can see that a lot of teachers here really wants to know the family background of the of your children, of the children's of the SEN children in your classes, maybe. Okay. I can see a lot of response for the family background. Okay. So maybe all this while, I don't know whether I'm making the hypothesis. I don't know whether this hypothesis is correct or not. Okay. So maybe all this while, we always think about when parents, teachers, collaboration is basically, it's talking about the child progress, okay, in terms of academic, in terms of social skill, and so on. So I think that one of the topics that have been discussed, or the common topics when we talk about parents teacher collaboration. It's all about talking with the family about the children, academic progress or social skills progress and so on. Am I right? So that are the main basically topic that have been discussed. Thank you, Dr. Hill. What are motivated children? What are the triggers? What are the key strengths? Okay. All right. So, all right. Keep in touch with parents about their child progress at schools, the extent of their awareness and nature of their disabilities. Okay, looks like here, as I said just now, always in parent teachers collaboration, the goals that we design is basically towards the academic achievement or towards the social skill progress of the children. Okay, there are maybe lack of opportunity for the teachers to know more about the family background of the children in the classes. So it could be, we will see whether this is correct or not. It could be this is actually one of the factors as well why the what you have been designed or what have you been agreed with the parents is not successful. Okay, so it could be one of the factors as well that basically contribute to the unsuccessful of the parents-teacher collaboration. So we put this in mind as well. Okay, and we go and explore more about it. Okay, let's get back to the slide just now. Sorry. Screen. Okay. Now everyone can see my slides?
Not yet, Doctor.
No?
Okay, now we can. All right. Now it has appeared.
All right. All right. So to begin the process actually of getting the process of parent teachers collaborations is begin by process to get to know the families. Okay, so this is actually important. So educators, teachers, they must recognize what is actually family experience, that that lead to many sort of emotions that experienced by the parents when the families or when the parents have the child with disability. Okay, so that is one of the main things. Okay, getting to know the families is one of the main thing that you can do in order to improve the parent teachers collaboration. Because all this while when I can see or my like very brief analysis of your response just now, you want to know more about the family background of the children. Meaning to say, maybe you do not have opportunity to know more, or maybe you do not know what is the best approach to ask the parents? Okay, so that's why I think it's related to the successful of the parent-teachers collaboration, of the family engagement, or whatever you call it, the family involvement and so on. So let's go and have a look at the emotional reaction to disability. So this is the first step of knowing the families that have child with special needs children. Okay, all right. So the family engagement is here. But to have a family engagement, you have other components basically to make sure that family engage, and when they engage, it might lead to the successful of the parent-teachers collaboration. All right, so let's have a look at this video. This is basically a video of myself actually talking about initial reactions to the child with disability. The video is in Malay, but I already shared the transcript of the video. I think where the participant can access it in the Google Drive. Betul, organizer? I have sent the transcript for this video to the organizer, and I get the message they already put in the Google Drive where participant can access to the drive. But I need help from the organizer as well to play the video for me. Is that possible? Ashraf is here. Okay.
Dr. Kartini Ilyas, apakah reaksi awal ibu bapa apabila mengetahui anak mereka mempunyai autism?
Okey, kebanyakan daripada ibu bapa dan juga ahli keluarga, mereka akan memberi pelbagai reaksi dan tindakan bila mengetahui anak mereka mempunyai gejala autism ataupun disahkan mempunyai autism. Okey, setengah daripada ibu bapa mereka akan rasa sangat terkejut apabila mendapat berita tersebut, dan ada setengah ibu bapa pula akan merasa lega kerana mereka telah menemui jawapan kepada pelbagai persoalan berkaitan dengan kelewatan pembesaran dan kelainan tingkah laku anak mereka. Namun secara ratanya, sedih dan risau merupakan emosi yang akan mengiringi mereka sebaik sahaja anak mereka disahkan mempunyai autism.
Doktor, berapa lamakah ibu bapa yang mempunyai anak yang mengalami autism ini akan mengalami perasaan sedih, takut dan risau?
Okey, sebenarnya tiada satu jangka masa yang tepat untuk menyatakan berapa lama mereka akan diselubungi dengan perasaan-perasaan seperti rasa takut, rasa sedih dan rasa risau. Namun mengikut hasil kajian yang lepas menyatakan ibu bapa yang punya anak autism itu akan melalui satu keadaan di mana dipanggil grieving cycle ataupun fasa kesedihan dan rasa kehilangan yang sangat mendalam. Fasa-fasa dalam kitaran kesedihan ini adalah perkara yang normal sebenarnya berlaku pada setiap manusia yang mengalami kehilangan. Dan dalam konteks ibu bapa anak autism, mereka juga merasa kehilangan anak mereka yang sepatutnya membesar seperti kanak-kanak yang lain.
Jadi doktor, apa yang ibu bapa perlu lakukan apabila mereka mengetahui anak mereka mempunyai autism?
Okey, apa yang ibu bapa perlu faham diagnosis ataupun pengesahan anak mereka punya autism sebenarnya tidak akan mengubah hakikat bahawa anak mereka akan menjadi seorang yang pelik. Okay, sebaliknya, diagnosis inilah yang akan membantu menyediakan maklumat seperti tingkah laku dan juga perkembangan anak mereka. Dan dengan adanya pengesahan daripada doktor, ini dapat membantu ibu bapa itu untuk mengakses pelbagai perkhidmatan dan kemudahan yang diperlukan oleh anak tersebut. Apa yang lebih penting lagi sebenarnya ialah ibu bapa itu perlu dapatkan intervensi awal kepada anak-anak mereka sejurus sahaja mereka mengenal pasti apakah anak mereka mempunyai kelewatan atau apa-apa isu yang berkaitan dalam perkembangan.
Doktor, boleh doktor kongsikan apakah cabaran yang dihadapi oleh ibu bapa yang mempunyai anak yang mengalami autism?
Okey, terdapat banyak aspek dan juga isu yang mereka perlu tangani. Okey, seperti isu berkaitan kesihatan anak-anak, terapi dan rawatan, masalah persekolahan dan juga isu yang berkaitan dengan tingkah laku anak-anak itu daripada alam kanak-kanak ke alam dewasa. Dan secara tidak langsung cabaran-cabaran ini sebenarnya akan memberi tekanan kepada ibu bapa, dan tekanan yang berterusan diiringi dengan rasa risau dan resah yang berpanjangan itu akan menyebabkan ibu bapa itu terperangkap ataupun mendapat apa yang dipanggil kemurunan ataupun depression.
Doktor, apa yang ibu bapa boleh lakukan jika mereka berasa tertekan atau sedih, Doktor?
Okey, sebenarnya ibu bapa boleh mendapatkan sokongan secara fizikal dan juga emosional daripada orang sekeliling yang paling dekat dengan mereka. So, siapa yang paling dekat? Pertama sekali ialah pasangan mereka lah. Namun sekiranya pasangan juga mengalami masalah atau tekanan yang sama, anda bolehlah meminta sokongan daripada ahli keluarga terdekat ataupun juga ahli keluarga pasangan. Dan sekiranya anda merasakan anda tidak mampu untuk meminta bantuan dengan ahli keluarga, anda boleh memilih untuk berkongsi masalah dengan rakan dan sahabat terdekat. Dan sekira semua pilihan tersebut itu tidak ada untuk anda boleh mendapatkan sokongan daripada pakar-pakar seperti kaunselor, pakar psikologi, pakar psikiatri dan lain-lain yang boleh membantu anda menguruskan tekanan.
Membesarkan anak autism bukanlah satu tanggungjawab yang mudah bagi ibu bapa. Meskipun autism akan memberikan impak sepanjang kehidupan, setiap anak autism itu unik dan berbeza. Bagi ibu bapa, dapatkan sokongan jika anda mengalami perasaan negatif atau tekanan. Kongsi perasaan anda dengan individu yang rapat atau yang anda selesa untuk meredakan tekanan tersebut. Saya ucapkan terima kasih kepada Dr. Kartini Ilyas di atas perkongsian yang diberikan sebentar tadi.
Okay. I hope that you will get, maybe for Malaysian you understand about the video, but I think for other countries I put the transcript as well. I think the organizer already put the transcript in the Google Drive where you can have a look on it lah. Okay, so this is basically a short interview that have been done in Genius Kurnia for the purpose of awareness about initial reactions to the child disability. And I get some response as well here just now. There are some teachers also here that you also may have a child with special needs. And I think Dr. Hill also here as one of the advocate for her children, her child. Okay, so I think upon knowing the news or the diagnosis of your child having certain disabilities or disorders, it's already like given you like a bomb on it lah. It's not like easy for the parents to take it. Okay, but there are also another conditions or another situation where parents feel relief after knowing that their child have disabilities or disorders. Okay, that their child need help. Okay, maybe it's depending on the case as well. Okay, if the child is like, like physically disabled, it's already obviously you can see, okay, with the physical disabled and so on. But in the cases of the child may have like learning disorders or specific learning disorders that you cannot see by your naked eyes. You cannot see by like your cannot see the child having certain disabilities, like with the neurodevelopmental disorders like autism, okay, like ADHD. So that is unseen disabilities. People might think that your child is normal, or people might think that why you didn't like really taking care or teach your children certain things, why they behaving in that way. So that's why for certain parents, they will feel like relief when they get diagnosis. Okay, but somehow even though like that relief, is still like associated with a deep sorrow inside them. Okay, it's undeniable. I think all the parents that have special needs children, they will go through that stage of like feeling a really deep sorrow inside them. Or in other words, we call like grief. Okay, normally we grieve when we lost someone, lost in a sense of like a death and so on. But in this context, like, when you get to know that your child is might somehow in a layman terms, like it's not normal like other kids or other siblings. Okay, they might experience that sense of loss as well. Okay, so that's why they also go through the stages of grief like other people who lost like family members and so on. And as I said just now, and these stages of grief, for parents that have special education needs children, there is like no timeline when it will be ended. Okay, so that's why I think going back to the I think one participant asked the questions when actually they will end, or when actually the phase of denial will be end for these family members. Okay, why I'm saying there is no timeline, because the child will grow up. They will like grow up according to developmental milestone. But in this sense, once your maybe other children reach the toddler stage, they're able to fulfill or to fit into the developmental milestones of the toddlers, but not with their children. Okay, so that basically make them to feel like lost. Okay, and then again, when the child going into the schooling, okay, into the primary, secondary, but not with their child is still like behind in terms of like developmental milestone and so on. So again, while looking at other people, family members that have a typical children manage to achieve certain milestones, but not with their child. So again, they are trapped in that cycle. Okay, so in that spiral. Okay, life still going on, so they might already like learn how to cope with certain things, but that feeling of sorrow is still there. It cannot be like deleted from their heart or their self. Okay, so the same thing after the child going into certain stage, maybe if now is like like for the secondary school in Malaysia, most of the students is going to seek for the SPM. So I have a few parents that came to me like, while other children is sitting for the SPM, okay, the secondary secondary exams is quite big exam, but my child is still like learning how to like button up themselves. Okay, learning how to hold pencil, learning how to eat by himself. So that again, that feeling in the cycle. So that is initial that grief, because that's why that grief, there is no timeline when that will be end. Okay, so that is another important things I think for all educators to know. So that's why you will face the parents that might come to you and say that or still like being in the denial. Okay, still cannot accepting that their child cannot progress. And when talking about denial, sometimes it will be showed with others, even though inside themselves they already like accept it. Okay, that acceptance already like come, they already accept their child in that situation and so on. But somehow with things happening throughout, still that feeling of sorrow or feeling of like, oh, why, and I keep asking about why this thing happened to me. And after certain stage, they were like that anxious and worries is still there. The feeling of fear, the guilt, the anger. So that sort of feelings that cannot be like deleted or cannot, there is no end for it. Okay, So I think that is a very important part. As a teachers, you need to understand that grief or cycle. So by actually showing your empathy towards parents, that will make them feel like more value and esteem with their situation. Okay. So I can see here some said that, yes, doctor, that is how I feel because I have a daughter with autism. Okay, so it's true, like Shafina's, that feeling like didn't like go. When talking about acceptance, yes, they already accept. It's not about accepting or not accepting the fate, okay, or this what already like got given to you. But I think that feeling will always be in themselves and then keep occurring when they're facing a new phase in their life. Okay, all right. Why my slide is not moving? Sorry. Okay, so we also have teachers that have a daughter with Down syndrome. So I believe that Zahorin is a teacher and also a mother to a child, to a daughter with Down syndrome. And we also can see many of the parents, basically this is what, based on my experience as well, I got to know that many parents, when they have child with special needs children, sometimes they themselves, like going into that field because they want to be the advocate for the child. So like in the schools, there are few teachers or many teachers, they basically change from a normal teacher in a aliran perdana, they change into the special needs class because they want to know more about their children, how to deal with the children with special educational needs. Okay. All right. So these are the stages of grieving. It's not actually, when talking about stages of grieving, it's not going like in a linear lines like that. Okay, it's not like a linear stage. No, but in reality, all this emotion, will be surrounded them most of the time. Okay, so they will find that they will still like being in the angry, or they will experience the angry emotion in certain times. Okay, the anger. So sometimes that anger being, like translated in different ways according to different parents, how they basically cope with their children. Okay, so Dr. Hill, are you still here? I think it's good as well, or any one of you would like to share how basically you go through the earlier stage when you get to know your child being, diagnosed with certain disabilities.
Oh, yes. I think a lot of the emotions I definitely experience.
If I may ask, Dr. Hill, at the first place, how long already like your child been diagnosed with, you have autism or what?
Both of my children has ADHD, and I think they just
how long already? She or he? She?
So my daughter was 6 when she was first grade. At first grade, that was 6. And my son, we tried to get him diagnosed as soon as possible, so it was 5. So for us, we didn't want to, for my daughter, that's because she's older, we didn't want to believe she has ADHD, right? That was a denial phase in the beginning, but we can definitely see it because it just takes so much longer for her to do things, and she constantly needs to be redirected. And then, we were thinking the anxiety, right? Is like, oh my God, right? Is she still going to have the same experience as other children? What would she be left behind? The fear. And sometimes it's about guilt, like, did I do something or didn't I do something that caused this? And then, of course, dealing with the ADHD children is like just enormously challenging because they do not do what you ask them to do. They just, right? Because they don't even listen. But for us, in terms of working with the school, though, this school was just so good. So we mentioned that our suspicion of the children might have this problem, because for us, having the child identify with a disability is what we want. Because we understand that once your child is being identified with a disability, there's just so much more resources being opened up for the child.
Talking about like all those emotion, the range of emotion, I believe that you're still like experiencing until now. Am I correct? Like those.
Oh, right now I do feel so much better. Right now it's just more about. So I do have so I'm going to talk about my experience collaborating with the school. So I do feel like I am a collaborative problem solver with the school, as well as the psychiatrist. So they're also taking medications. So I felt like there's someone there for me. I am not doing this alone. I feel there's support and there's strength. Through that partnership, through that collaboration, that gave me so much relief. And the school has been, whenever, my daughter is fine because she's the daydreaming type, right? She almost never make a trouble because she's just so quiet. She would disappear. Then the teacher said, I'm so happy that you did this, the diagnosis process with her, because otherwise, no one would notice her, basically, right? Because she's so good.
In this sense also, even though like I can see that you are communicating with the schools about your, what you are.
Yeah, we are being proactive.
Yeah. All right. So thank you so much for your sharing. But I think going back here, I think when we talk about the initial, like when the first time that you know that your child has certain disabilities, of course, you will go with the range of emotion. And there is like no time limit for it. For some people, they just like quickly or very fast in embracing it, quickly like work and being proactive. But again, deep inside their heart, they still have those kind of feeling that maybe sometimes when they talk to teachers, some will show and some like won't show, right? So it's still like different types of parents that basically that's why you may face that parent that's still like in denial, okay? Because they also sometimes still do not know about their child's conditions, okay? If they do not have knowledge. So going back, like I think what you have responded just now, you want to know the family backgrounds, you want to know how much they basically know about the child's condition. Okay, so I think I don't know whether I think that anxiety never goes away. See, I think you still like have it inside yourself, that anxious, that worry. I think when I talk to the parents already, like have a child with special needs children's already like 15 years, but they still have that worry about. That worry will be different according to the phase. Okay, later on when the child's growing up and the parents or the caretaker is getting like older, they will think about what happened to the child when they are not here. So who is going to taking care of the child? So like different type of like emotions that surround that basically. All right. So I think for teachers, I think let's talk about how basically what is the best way for teachers actually to get to know about this, because I think I get, your response is you want to know about the family backgrounds, you want to know what's happening to the children, but I believe that there is like, I don't know why, what are the constraints or what are the challenge for the teachers actually to talk to the parents about this, because I think maybe in our school systems, talking about parents and teacher collaboration, we basically go directly to the child progress on the academic or on social skills and so on. But there are some part that we always left behind to talk about this. Okay, maybe because like talking about emotions, talking about how you feel will make many of us feel awkward to talk about it. Okay, because it's also depending on the culture as well, on the culture practice as well, and talking about emotions. But maybe like for us in Malaysia, we rarely talk about the emotions. How do you feel about it? Okay, how it's may affect you. I think we rarely talk about emotion. So that's why, even though we know there are a lot of emotion that surrounded parents with special needs children or family, but we rarely talk about it. Okay, but I think it's good if you have knowledge about this, that parent with a special education needs children, they will go through the stages of grief, and some of them there is like no timeline when that will be end. Okay, all right. Next, right. So when you have a child with special children as well, okay, these are what parents have to go through as well. They have to redefine their future dreams, hopes, and also life priorities. So they embark into a new journey in the parenting life. Okay, so many of them, they reported that they have to adjust to the aspect of their life, including, their cognitions, their feelings, their daily routines, and their overall of their life plans. Okay, some of them, they readjusted quite fast, okay, in terms of their thoughts and belief about the child's conditions, okay, and they become more positive and optimistic to persevere. So parents came to me with when sharing about their experience on this, they said that their life have to change, that from like all aspect, like from like the family planning has to change. Initially they wanted to have like more kids, but after this, after having him, I think it's already like enough for us to have only like one child. Okay, so that is how they basically needs to redefine their life priorities. Okay, a lot of them, they go through it, and this is not the easier process. So if we teachers, we do not expect that all teachers to be a counselor or to be a psychologist, but I think by having certain skills and knowledge on how to be empathy, or how to be like more supportive to the parents, not only talking on some objective measures of the children about the progress, but basically supporting on the emotional part as well, that could be a good indicator for a successful teacher parents collaboration as well. Okay, and constant worries and anxious over future. Okay, of course there are a lot of studies that stated, that found out that parents anxiety, okay, regarding the future for the child. Okay, so this one is a study in ASD, but I think it's also applicable to other disabilities as well. Okay, that will be thinking about child's future. That will be one of the major issues, or one of the major worries, and anxious about the child. So how basically their schooling, okay, the secondary school or higher education. That's why I said just now that grieving cycle, something there is never end for it. So it's getting better in terms of intensity, but it's still there most of the time. Okay, some of the parents, they really concerns about job, career prospect, not meaning to, of course, they already have redefined their dreams and hopes, looking at their children having a good job, like a professional job. But what basically this child will do for the living, okay? Because as they growing older, they will think about other aspect, that who is basically going to take care of this child when I'm no longer in this world. Okay, so this actually go to another worries about finding care for their children in their older age. Okay, but there are some parents, I think many parents as well, they just, as I said, they just like quickly embrace or they really embrace the journey, the new journey that they experience. Okay, that is how basically they cope or they manage the worries and stress that they have over them. Okay, there are a few fathers actually that came to me and mentioned that, from I have nothing, zero knowledge on ASD before, but once I have him, it's really transformed myself into, I want to be a hero for him. So definitely I need to seek knowledge. I need to know about ASD condition and how basically child with ASD will grow up, how about the future and so on. So some parents, they really do a transformation of themselves from the zero to hero. But all this is like they will going through the process, and the process, it's not easy as what we always think. Okay, because along the way there are other things, because being a human, we are having like a mix of emotions, and sometimes handling our emotion is like the tough things that we do in our life. Okay, and some of parents said that, by having child with ASD, is really change in the characters. Okay, change their characters. So now they're becoming proactive. I think I have a lot of parents that came to me and say, I now become proactive to my children. I now become proactive to my, daughter, to my son, because I need to be their advocate. Okay, I need to be the advocate for my child in order to make sure that they have something for their life in the future. Okay, and with acceptance, and also purpose, it was reported that when parents, start to accept, okay, and then start to find purpose of having child with ASD, it will like give or make them experience a better well-being. Okay, enjoy with their accomplishment after they lowered their expectation. So these are the things, with the expectation, with the hope, with the dreams, that sometimes I think these are the aspects that teachers need to look first before they go into what they want to do for the children. What are the progress that they looking forward for the children. So I think you need to take time as well to talk to the parents, to talk to the families, to have a session that talk about this, how basically it go for your family. So I think this is going into one of the response in the chat just now. I look at that, looking forward to know about the strengths. It's really important when you design certain things for the child with SEN. You also need to look the strength of the family members as well. You have to map this with the strength of the family members, because it's not workable if you only looks at some objective measure, but you do not look at the strength and weaknesses of the family. It must be in line. Okay. All right, so let's have a look here. All right, so this is like a quotation from one of one of the clients that basically having session with me. So I'm no longer like other parents, like what they call kiasu. So maybe in a Chinese culture, you have this prideful practice. Okay, I think that I don't expect him to achieve excellence in an academic way. I lowered down my expectation, and I hope that he can live an independent life on his own. That is what I'm aiming for. At this moment, I'm happy with whatever bonus that I get. So once parents have lowered down the expectation, so this is basically, they will feel content in whatever achievement, even though it's a small achievement that the child showed to them. Okay, so I think for the teacher side, it's really important for teachers to go and explore this. Okay, take some time to explore this with the parents. So instead of maybe after this, you should redesign the parents teachers like open day or conference meeting and so on, in a way that parents also have some space for them to talk about what they feel and so on. Okay, and some parents, by having child with special needs, it's really increased the sense of connectedness, more on their faith with God, with other people, and so on. Okay, all right. So let's go and have a look here in some of the response here. Okay. To me, the student with disability, okay, I think the anxiety never goes away. That's Dr. Hill's shared about it. The anxiety, then Shafinas agreed with it. Okay. Okay, so that's why in the US we call them exceptional children. They have learned differently, but they can certainly succeed. Again, Dr. Hill, this is basically going back to the system. Okay, even though like in Malaysia we have the term OKU, orang kurang upaya, even though they are trying to rename it with there are a group of peoples that try to rename it in like more positive way, but again it's quite hard to change the system where the consensus and the laws is already like recognize them as the OKU. So maybe this fact can offer comfort and hope. Okay. And as a Malaysian, a Muslim believe special kid as blessed and key to get blessed by God. I think I also witnessed this across of other religion as well, by having child with autism, not autism only, but by having child with special needs, basically increase their sense of connectedness with God. So that can be seen across all the regions. So we can say that religious also one of the protective factors for the parents. So if you find out, maybe in your working with parents with special needs children, you find out that parents are into that, into the religious belief and so on. So you can go by that way as well. Okay. The emotion parts of parents is very important. As a mother, I empathy with them. As a teacher, we should concern and try to be very good listener to them as well as to the students. Okay. And when you have empathy, as I said, maybe at the first place you put the empathy, and that will make parents or families will be more welcome, okay, to the session and so on. Okay, to the schools, they will feel like more comfortable to talk to the teachers or to discuss. So that will be a good point, a bonus point if you manage to get that well, if you manage to tackle that part first. So will make you to be like more you have like more opportunity to discuss further of other things regarding to the children. My children keep telling us, because my son sometimes cannot control his emotion, it is not our fault, it eases my anxiety. So teachers must also encourage parents to celebrate little milestone of their children. So if it's happening in your school systems, so you are in the right way. So of getting parents to be more involved. Okay, so even a little achievement. So this is basically one of the way as well to tackle the aspect of expectation, because we talk about just now, we also talk about like parents with higher expectation. Okay, so what might make them to have higher expectation? It could be due to they also have not really values about the child's condition. So what are the factors that make them to come up with that high expectation? So I think with the right communication between teachers and also parents, that will make things like better. Yeah. Empathy is a key. Know that empathy is a skill to be learned and honed. Yeah. Okay. Parents having too low an expectation, they don't see the need to move up their children from elementary transition class to the secondary transition, because they say my child is uneducable. Okay. Also, there are, agree with you, Catherine, there are still a group of parents that just feel like kalau dekat Malaysia, they will say like, tak apalah, just be there forever. they cannot do much, in fact. So there are also group of parents. So I think it's quite complicated and complex as well for the teachers actually to understand the aspect of the background of the family. I know that will be a tough job for for the teachers with the variety of kids in the variety of the kids in the classes in terms of disability, and you want to get to know like the family of the family to the children that in your classes to ensure that what you do is basically fit most of the children in the classes. Okay. All right. So another things that you need to know is about family. So we are living with it, growing stronger together. There are certain families or certain kids, okay, they only have, the primary caregiver is the parents, which mean the mother and the father. And if you look at the involvement, most of the times mothers involve more in terms of like talking to the schools. Okay, I think we can see that trend more. I think most in the countries, like mothers are more involved, but it doesn't mean that father is not involved, because if we understand from other side, when you have like child with special needs, sometimes they have to redefine their family in terms of like working and so on. So there are some mothers, they already like resign from job and give full attention to the child, and then father will be the main person for the sustaining in terms of living, finding monies and so on. So that's why I think maybe that is the arrangement that has been made to their family. So it also to good understand that part as well, knowing to know like the strength and also what are the challenges that basically faced by each children in your class. Is good to have that. And some children, they have supports from their extended family members, okay, from the grandparents, from uncles and aunties. Okay, so that's why some of them, they really like feel, the supports from this extended family members is really meaningful for them. Okay, so by cherishing even a small achievement that's shown by their child, okay, this actually can uphold the parents' sense of hope. Okay, so there is like one client that came to me where they live together with extended family, the grandparents in the house and so on. So when the presence of child with special needs in the house is really create some sort of misunderstanding between the grandparents and other things. And becoming a mother to a special needs as well, she mentioned to me that it's really make me to be like observant of what everyone's do to my children, to my son. She mentioned to me. So there is one incident. This is basically where they sat together. Normally, there is like lack of communication between the grandparents and also the grandchildren. Okay, but there is like one incident. She mentioned to me that they had a dinner together with the whole family, and happened to be like the grandparent asked the children, asked the son, so which type of food that you want? So of course there is like no answers because the son is nonverbal, but it's just like eye contact that the child or the son made to the grandparents, and it also already can show the happiness of the grandparents. So that is how basically the family dynamics going on with the family that have special needs children. Okay, so the more they are living with they have other extended families in the house, the stress and also things going on would be more complicated to them. Okay, all right. Okay. Now, maybe we want to take a short break before we continue to the roles of family?
Okay.
Can?
Can, Doctor, can.
Can, eh? So maybe we come back at 12. Okay? Yes, a
So we're
short.
gonna go for a short break, Doctor?
Yeah, I think
Okay.
so lah, Saila.
Okay. Maybe 10 minutes?
Uh-uh.
All right.
Come back
So
at
we'll
12.
come back at 11:55.
Uh-uh.
All right. Thank you. Okay, to all the participants, as you can see on the screen, we're having EduTalk competition in conjunction with the International Day of Persons with Disabilities. It's very easy and it's fun. It's just a 1-minute TikTok video with educational content where you can share on some information on PWDs, talent. You can showcase your dancing skills, or if there's a drama in you, bring out that drama queen or drama king in you, or you can also do sign language, and it's open to public. And the deadline is for December with amazing prizes offered. First prize is 100 USD, second prize 75 USD, and third prize 50 USD. So do join this EduTalk competition in conjunction with the upcoming International Day of Persons with Disabilities. All right. If you have any further information, just let me know. Thank you. Dr. Katrina, are you ready?
Yeah.
Ya, sempat saya iklan.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I rasa boleh tak join?
Boleh. Boleh, Doktor.
All right.
All right, the floor is yours.
All right, thank you so much. So welcome back all participants. So so maybe I missed what Catherine have said, Catherine Anuru. So all right, so maybe on the other hand, I have an experience with some parents having too low on expectation. Okay, some parents think that their children can do everything, but the reality is the child is too low function. Okay, so this is about expectation that we already discussed about it, but do agree that as I mentioned to you just now, there is like, yeah, parents, but actually if you go back to that parents, maybe if you try to like explore more what basically make them to be in that situation. Okay, there is like no one, believe me, there is no one like just like want to live like that. Okay, so it must be like try to go and explore a bit. Okay, as a teachers, go and explore a bit about why basically they end up in that situation. Okay, and for so talking about the expectation of the children. Okay, agreed with Catherine and Nurul. Besides that, not all the parents were comfortable to tell us teachers about their problems. Some of them pretend to be good. This is the reality and challenges for us to handle, and sometimes we don't have capabilities to solve the problem due to several barriers like perception, miscommunication, and etc. So I think tomorrow we will cover on the helping processes, because we always think that if we want to help people, we're going to solve the problem. That is the mentality that we have. And in fact, I think it shouldn't be that way. So tomorrow we will, that's why we end up that sometimes with the frustration when we cannot see the progress or what we expect from the other party. Okay, so coming back, let me share the page. Okay, now we are going to look at the roles of families. So earlier part, we get to know that by understanding the emotional reactions to disability, by putting certain empathy, certain parts of empathy with the families of children with special needs, it may becoming a protective factors to the successful parents teachers collaborations. Now moving to the next session, understanding the roles of family as well. Okay, so will be another important point that we need to consider. Can you see my slide? Boleh nampak kan?
Yes.
All right, thank you. All right, so we need to understand that having child with ASD will basically, so educators also need to consider and should keep in mind that having child with special needs is require other additional roles. From a typical role as a parents, being a parent, a typical child also already like give us a lots of not to say tense and worries, but I think a lot of challenge. Okay, we put it challenge now. If we put like we try to rename it's a challenge. So being a parent to a typical child's already a lot of challenges that you need to face as well, in terms of the healthcare, in terms of education, the living, and so on. Some more being a parents to a special needs children or exceptional children. The terms that we feel comfortable to use it lah. Okay, so it's basically add up another roles from a typical roles to other roles, where this with the new roles, okay, it can basically create a new demands to the families. So that's why there is a reason why they really, like, if you look at the working as their main reason for not coming to the parents teacher collaboration or parents teachers meeting or conference. That should be a real reason for it, because as I said, once they have child with special needs, they have to redefine their life priorities and so on. Okay, from like both of the parents working, now it's only like one parent's only working to find or to support the family. So it could be added another stress into the situation. Okay, so there could be other demands that come and associated with the another additional roles. Okay, so as I put here, okay, so belum ni is only like parents sahaja, but when you have a child with special needs, you becoming a case manager, because you need to coordinate all the appointments with the doctors, all the appointments, with other services for the purpose of child caring for the children. Okay, and then you need to be the advocate for your kids. Okay, we can see that we have advocates here. Dr. Hales, I believe she's the advocate for her children, and other parents as well. You need to advocate, be the advocates, speaking out, the best interest of your child. Okay, and a specialist, you need to know what is the best, the best for your child. Okay, other things, you need to equip yourself with a new knowledge and so on. So you just imagine like being a parents to other additional roles that they need to have with them right now. So definitely it's require a lot of demands from the parents. Okay, and from time to time, they need to define the roles. I think the best thing that family can do, or teachers can, seek to the parents, or when you discuss with the parents about this, they need to have like a new, a clear communication about the roles in the family. Okay, so they need to redefine, rearrange their life, and sometimes restructure. And this thing happen like almost at different phase in the child life. Okay, from the primary school to the intervention center, and going to the secondary school, and later on going to adult life. So a lot of things that needs to redefine, rearrange, and restructure. So clear communication here is basically for the family themselves to have a clear communication within the family members to explain about the new roles that they might experience is really important. And always remember that the new roles are often adaptive. So it's not like basically being there for like, if being there for the whole of their life. It's often adaptive, so it takes some time, but later on you will start to adapt with the new roles that you experience. So how basically you can, or the family can go about it, to talk, take the time, to talk and to discuss. So you can see like most of the, I think from earlier on, we have been highlighted about to communicate it clearly. So communication is one of the key where we are going to like learn together tomorrow about effective communication, how effective communication can happen. Okay, and to assess how it feels to everyone. So with the new rules, how basically it make everyone in the house feel about it. So maybe some siblings, there are also like siblings that feel why they have to take this role, they are not supposed to do this. their their brothers or their sisters supposed to be their friend, but now they have to take care or going into the taking care of the brothers aspect of living and so on. And then family also needs to realize that a common or basic needs also maybe needs to be fixed or changed. There will be a changing in terms of role, a changing in terms of basic needs. Okay, from this basic needs to other things. Okay, and it's good if the family can create a timeline for each roles. Okay, so who are responsible for this, until when? So it's good as well, not like the same people doing the same thing. Kan? So that will be like more effective if like every members in the house, experience the different roles that they already like redefined for the family, and negotiating and adjusting to the continual progress. Okay, negotiate with other family members, within the family members, and try to adjust to the progress. And working as a team is always the best. Okay, it's always the best to work as a team, but it's not as easy as it being said. Okay, it's not as easy as being said. Even the crises will happen in the family members themselves. Okay, so these are maybe some of the things that teachers also can talk and discuss when you have a parents teachers like a meeting or discussion with the parents. You also can talk about, give suggestion how to go about it. So maybe at your point as a teachers, so you give some suggestion that may make the families can take it and try to practice it within the families lah. Okay. Okay. All right. So not let's have a break, but not a break. We already like take a break, but take a break to watch this video. Basically, it's another second video. The interview with two parents that have ASD children. What are the associated challenges or stress that they experience? Can technical team play the video for me, please?
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Pertama sekali saya ingin ucapkan terima kasih kepada puan berdua kerana sudi datang untuk temu ramah pada hari ini. Apa antara cabaran-cabaran yang puan hadapi dalam membesarkan anak puan yang autism? Terutama puan punya dua kan anak yang autism. So saya yakin cabaran tu sangat besar lah.
Sejujurnya lah saya cakap, it's not easy to have one. Ini kan pula two. Waktu anak saya yang sulung disahkan ada autism, saya rasa macam apalah sangat autism, sebab anak saya yang sulung tu dikategorikan, doktor kata dia nampak macam high function. Sebab saya rasa macam it takes time untuk nak membentuk anak saya, untuk free diapers, untuk behavior diorang, untuk diorang bagi tahu diorang sedih, diorang sakit, diorang happy. Sebab anak saya kalau happy dia tak macam orang lain, dia cakap saya seronok. Tak, anak saya kalau happy dia macam ni. Orang lain nampak anak saya macam ni, diorang kata anak saya nakal, diorang kata anak saya buas, diorang kata anak saya cacat, macam tu. Anak-anak normal akan panggil anak saya cacat, diorang panggil anak saya bodoh. Jadi saya cakap it's not easy. Untuk bagi diorang behavior macam anak-anak normal, it's not easy. Suami saya dibuang kerja, banyak kali suami saya dibuang. Bila suami saya dibuang kerja, keluarga sebelah suami mula menyalahkan anak-anak saya, menyalahkan saya. Yelah, suami saya belajar pandai, tiba-tiba kena buang kerja.
Okey, kalau macam saya pula, saya akuilah tekanan tu sangat hebat. Saya telah disahkan diagnose dengan MDD atau Major Depression Disorder.
Okey. Pada diagnose
Yes, masih baru baru sajalah disahkan tu tahun ni. Tapi sebenarnya saya dah ada simptom tu dah lama. Tekanan tu terlalu hebat sampai saya rasa saya dah tak nak hidup.
Dan kongsikan tadi cabaran tu sangat besar sampai memberi tekanan yang begitu teruk pada diri puan. Daripada mana dan bagaimana pula cara puan menghadapi cabaran-cabaran tersebut?
Okay, pada saya sekarang ni apa saya buat, semuanya pada diri saya sendiri. Kalau saya tak kuat untuk anak-anak saya, mana dia nak dapat kekuatan? Kalau saya tak treat anak-anak saya yang mengalami autism dengan elok, macam mana anak saya yang normal, what I expect untuk dia treat abang-abang ni pula.
Okay. Pada saya pula kekuatan saya untuk teruskan kehidupan saya walaupun jatuh bangun ialah anak saya sendiri. Sebab saya dapat lihat kalau saya tak bangkit dan teruskan kehidupan ni, anak-anak saya seperti hilang pergantungan. Jadi anak-anaklah sumber saya untuk terus menggunakan. Dan saya bersyukur juga sebab saya mempunyai ibu, ayah, adik-beradik dan teman, kawan-kawan baik yang sentiasa menyokong saya.
So what? Okay, thank you so much for that video. All right. So from here, from that video, so let's do some activities. While I'm talking alone, maybe it will be quite boring. So let's go and have some reflection on the video. What basically can you summarize or can you say about those video that have been played? I also hope that other participants, non-Malay participants, you get the transcript. Are you managed to get the transcript for the videos that have been played? So maybe you can start to write in the chat box. So what basically can you say, or what are your insight, or what you can say about the videos? Can you write something in the chat box? Did you manage to watch the video, right? Okay, tekanan hebat yang dialami oleh ibu bapa. Alright, Harifah. So mix the ball rolling. We have to support each other. Okay. Ubah pandangan orang luar. Okay. To change the community perceptions. We must raise awareness from peoples around, educate the society. It's not easy to take care of children with autism, especially if they are your own. It will affect you everything. Your emotion, your psyche. We need help, a lot of help to keep going. Most parents worry about the future. Acceptance. Okay. Stress among parenthood. We need to give opinions. Love yourself first. Keep positive thinking and redha. Okay, empathy and sokongan kepada parents. Alright. Okay, let's go back here. So, Thank you so much for the response as well. Okay. So if we can see here, we already talked about the stress that happens in the family. Okay, with the emotions that surrounded the parents. Okay, the family members, and with the changing of the roles in the family is actually happen within them. Okay, and if you look at the videos just now, another associated factors towards it is basically from the peoples around you, from the society, from the community. So it's a big challenge as well, okay, for them to go through. So some of the parents feel that, okay, I need to leave because of the children. Okay, and I do agree. Just now, Dr. Hill highlighted about parents burnout. Okay, you need to do your self-care, need to take care of yourself, okay, in order to avoid the burnout. Okay, so a lot of things that still we need to do, okay, to educate the community, and teachers can be one of the like one of the agent in this awareness. Okay, so you have this knowledge, you understand them, you are also can be one of the agents that may change or may raise the awareness about having children, or how to cope, or how to take care of a child with special needs children. Okay, need moral support, they just don't care until they have SEN child or their relative have one. Yeah, that's the reality of us. In fact, I think if I'm not in this field, I also may not knowing what is autism, what is a special education needs children. If I talk to my colleagues, in fact, in the same faculty, they might not knowing what is autism. So what is a special education needs children? Because I'm in this line, so I know it. So that is like my part of my responsibilities, or part of my contribution to the society to create this awareness. Okay, some more like I think that's happening in our society. Still, some of us still don't know autism. They even say it can cure. Yeah. Yes, but now it's real. We may have one topic on this, on this. Okay. All right. So I think we talk about this. Okay. Now, so I talk just now about the associated stressors, and in that video also show you the associated stresses of the daily living. Okay, having child with special needs. Okay, they will go through a range of emotion, a range of stress and worries and so on, and with the new roles in the family, there are also other associated stress from the community around, okay, from the society, from the peoples around them. So they will experience lack of support. I think most in the countries, I think maybe in the developed countries is different compared to developing countries, okay, including Malaysia. We still have lack of supports, lack of accessibility. When we talk about the awareness, the initiative is already there, but to get there is still like long way to go. So we are the persons that, so in this field, so we can contribute towards that, towards achieving that. Okay, it's still like a challenge for developing countries. Okay, lack of support from the government, from the system, and so on. Lack of support can happen within the family members. In fact, okay, some families in fact didn't understand. That's why make parents or families that have special needs children to isolate themselves, not going into the social activities. So because they feel like lack of support, okay, with the child's condition, it's quite impossible for them to join the social activities. Okay, and financial struggles, okay, this also real. The financial struggles, they have to spend a lot on the intervention. Okay, even though I think we are quite lucky as well in Malaysia, we do have like very supportive education system for special educational needs students. we have, our government schools, but still after school they need to send for intervention. Talking about intervention, that is extra money or extra allowance that they need to spend for the child's progress and so on. Okay, and the healthcare. Okay, because child with special educational needs also might need the extra healthcare. Okay, for them. Okay, needs extra healthcare for them. And talking about accessibility, we are going into that pathway, basically towards the equal accessibility for the students with educational needs. Still, long way for us to go there. So I think we also, as educators, we also need to understand what the associated stressors for the daily living of the families that have special needs children. Okay, so by understanding this as well, it will make like you help. It basically will help you in supporting parents. Okay. Okay, our kids' schools, okay, offer training. I'll go to the chat box as well. Okay, how teachers can help to increase awareness? What kind of activities? May you provide example of awareness activity that teachers can do in school or outside the school? Okay, all right, good questions. All right, so I think Dr. Hill highlighted maybe these are the practice in the developed countries. They have like offers parents training. A hospital offers parents training. We do have in our countries as well, but I think still limited. So maybe it is initiative by certain organization. It's not like conclusive and not involved to all parties. Okay, even in school. So I think school is the best platform or the best medium to create awareness. Okay, but we also understand the constraints and the challenge of the school as well. Okay, but I think school is the best place basically to do a parents training, to create awareness program that can come from the school as well. So maybe others also can share what have been done in your school setting. The school can facilitate parent support group. Yeah, I agree with that. And in fact, this may be, I'm talking from another perspective. Okay, like in my kids' school, of course, a typical school, but we do have like PIBG, we do have a parent support group. And we can see the differences if we go that way. So parent support group, they will have like another group to support within the parents, giving the emotional supports, giving the other supports from whatever have been done by the school. Sorry to say this, I wonder why in our country the school can do home visit. Is there anyone here in Malaysia? In Malaysia, I think that's initiative from the teachers lah. Not formally come. Maybe it's not formally part of the programs, a formal program from the school. So I think if you have the opportunity, your school have the opportunity to go that way, to redesign how basically you approach parents, you can make a change. Okay, why I think you can make that change if it's permissible for you to do that way. I think what Dr. Hill sharing from US practice, the developed countries, okay, ziarah China. So I think, Khairiyah, if you said, maybe you wrote here ziarah China, maybe your school have been practicing this. Okay, even in Malaysia, based on my observation as well, different school, they have a different practice, even though when come to the special education needs program. Collaboration with the 3PK team, okay, public facilities that need to be graded. That we talk about the accessibility for the students with special needs lah. Okay. not so much information about PPKI and awareness about disabilities. If I'm not switching this area, I also do not know about PPKI. I think I also highlighted just now, even myself, if I'm not in this field, I also may not knowing about this. But when you are in this field, you can be the right person actually to make a change. So, of course, it is a bit tough, as I mentioned just now, to change the system, but you can be one of the agent, or you can be one of the person that contribute, to the society. Okay, so maybe more awareness should come from all of us. Okay, we are the person that can make a change. Is there a community group that provide a shared disabilities videos and that can be shared to school community? All right. So teacher need to walk extra miles on home visit. Okay, so that is one of the constraints for the teachers. I do agree that some teachers do that. I did see, in fact, I did see some of the school, they take extra initiative. Okay, teachers just invested themselves, their money to go to upgrade themselves for the training and so on. Okay, so I think, so just now we talk about emotional reaction, just recap a bit, okay, emotional, by understanding some emotional reactions, and then, like the changing of the roles in the family, okay, and then the associated stress that basically surrounded the families with special needs children. Now, maybe we go a bit into the building, how to build a positive family engagement. So these are some of the key recommendations, okay, on how to go about it. But we may have, not we may have, but we are going to have the group activities is basically to see and to work on this matter. How basically in your practice that we try to look based on our own experience, okay, not be so ambitious about it, but what we can do within our scope in order to help to build the positive engagement between the parents and also schools. Okay, so these are some of the key recommendations that basically I took from the literatures about how to go about building a positive family engagement. All right, so to create a welcoming environment. So that is the first step. So to make, but I think I've been highlighted about this as well. If you have a supportive environment, the acceptance of the school to the parents and families to make them feel valued and included. So we need to think how to break the wall, or how to break basically the barriers to see teachers as one authority that basically telling parents what to do. So we want to have like equal, like not to say equal status between parents and teachers. We want to make it balanced, because all this while, as I mentioned, we always have the mentality of, okay, teachers, they know what to do with our children. Okay, teachers supposed to know what need to do to our children. So that is basically mentality that we have. Okay, and the interaction with everyone in school should be caring and also supportive. So it's not only with the teachers, but it's an ideal if we can include most everyone in the school system, Karani with the clerk, okay, with the guard. So that basically interaction that should happen, the caring and supportive interaction should happen with everyone in the school. Okay, and creating opportunities for parents to make positive connection within the school. So create the opportunities, okay, give a room or give space for parents also to make positive connection within the schools. Okay, acknowledge the strengths. I remember one of the participants earlier mentioning about identifying the strengths. It's really important. Okay, when talking about the strength, it's not looking at the child's abilities, talents, or child strengths only. We also need to recognize the family strengths. Okay, so what are the strengths that possessed by this family? So you need to map out, you need to match the kid's strength and the family strength. Okay, in that way, things will work better. Okay, compared that you have an ideal plan for the kids, but if you didn't analyze what kind of like strength or what kind of resources or what kind of like challenge that this family has in order, to meet whatever you have planned to the child. So matching or mapping out the child's strength and also the family strengths is another important part that that teachers or educators need to do. Okay, so need to identify as well what kind of resources. Sebab every child has a unique resources, a unique family dynamic, so different to each other. Okay, so build the trust. So I think this is a very important fundamental to make the parent teachers collaboration successful. It must be based on the trust. So, but I believe teachers are always be available. Okay, try to make yourself be available and also be responsive. Okay, another important part that we need to take into consideration or we need to remember is to maintain confidentiality. So that's why we find out that sometimes talking about when you have like parents teachers collaboration or parents teachers relationship, will make both parties to talk about something, sometimes about something personal. Okay, sometimes personals about maybe like a husband and wife relationship. Okay, husband didn't really care about the child or wife really didn't care about the child or so on. So a lot of like personal things being conveyed to the teachers. So it's really important for the teachers to maintain that confidentiality. Okay, and to recognize that families may have different perspective. Okay, we need to aware as a teachers. We need to aware. We need to acknowledge. In fact, not only aware and acknowledge that different people. When you talk to different people, sometimes you talk the different topic or the same things, but how they take it in a different way. So you like it or you don't like it, you need to acknowledge that and you need to learn how basically to deal with that. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Before I go further, let's have a look because I can see like more response coming in the chat box. Okay. Is there any community awareness? Okay, let's do a home visitation. How about creating brochures, inviting cartoons to make short information videos for parents? I think even teachers also can make that in the school. I think nowadays, and with what have been advertised by Puan Suhaila just now, EduTalk, right? So that's EduTalk is also like, I think our society nowadays, that is like how we create awareness. So it's just about like now we should have that courage, or we should need to step out from our comfort zone, like go beyond it and then try to do other extra things. But I think it could be a good ideas, is a great ideas, like to have like short information, coping stories to share the families. Yeah. Sometimes for me to get that two parents to come to the interviews, it's not easy actually, because you need to share like your personal things. I think not everyone are comfortable to talk about it, and we also need to be aware what we need to share and what we do not need to share. Okay, we always need to know the boundaries of what we need to share and what we do not need to share. Okay. It's hard to promote about SE. Okay. Social media, due to teachers need to follow privacy rules, but what comes to, with the community are lacking knowledge about SE. I think I saw nowadays many teachers make the videos of how they deal with the children in the classroom, but I think we just follow. We need to adhere to the to what is basically relevant and not only relevant, but also the privacy rules lah, of how you create the contents. Adhere to confidentiality policies, yes. All right. Asset-based mindset rather than deficit mindset. We done home visit before. It's really eye-opener for teacher and does help us to understand more the parent condition. Their economic background sometimes really affect their roles as a reliable parent. So that's why I said to you, I think what I've listed just now, maybe it looks like generic, but when you really go and do what have been listed, now you experience it. Okay. Any suggestion how to encourage parents with deaf children to learn sign language in rural areas? Okay, some rural parents prefer using what we call bahasa isyarat kampung to communicate with their deaf children. Indirectly discourage these deaf children to use proper sign language. So this will be another barriers because, as I said, maybe because why they are using the like the bahasa isyarat kampung, because that is what they have. Okay, that is what they afford to do it. Okay, because they need to communicate with the children. Okay, then what make them to communicate? So they just use whatever resources or whatever they can do about it, right? But it must be a challenge, okay, to teach the students. Okay, strategies to contribution goal, time management, maintain meaningful relationship, and so on. So that's why I went from this basically sharing from Dr. Hill, we can see as well, like maybe we should do a change as well, okay, in our based on your school system and so on, how to go about for the kids with special need children. What are the focus that we are looking into? It's either the academic or maybe you should focus on other things first, emotional development, the social skills development. So that are the things that you people here need to go and discuss with the school. So I know sometimes we have to adhere to the systems, like we need to adhere to KPM, for instance. There are certain things, rules and regulation already, but maybe there should be alteration here and there to suit or to give like more impact to the education of special needs children. Okay. All right. Now we can see like the ideas is coming in. I'm also learn from all of you. Like I'm so happy to see that. I'm so happy to see that. While maybe I'm telling you, as I said, maybe it's a general or it's has been like stated in the literature. But once you really doing it, you did that, you can see the difference. Like when doing a home visit, that have been suggested. I think that have been suggested in the empirical studies or empirical evidence. But it's either that you do it or you do not do it. Okay, so other than that, I think it's very important for all educators also to acknowledge that parent as ultimate decision maker. So because they maybe spend time in school about how many hours? 4, 5 hours, 6 hours. And other than that, we have 24 hours. So the rest of hours they spend with the parents at home. So definitely the parents will be the reliable source and guidance for supports. Even though we understand there are a group of parents when we're looking into the socio-economic background, there are a group of parents that if they have low socio-economic background, there are a group of parents that really don't care. As long as my kids going to school is already enough for us. Okay, as long as we can communicate with our child, even though it's a bahasa isyarat kampung, it's already enough for us. So that is basically the differences, individual differences, the socio-economic differences that we must take into consideration. Okay, so recognize them as advocates for their child, even though there are challenges, even though there are some of you feel it's not enough from the parents, but they are basically the advocates for their child. And then I think the most important part is to focus on what teachers and parents have in common, rather than try to close the gap or to close that discrepancy. Of course, it's a challenge. Again, it's a challenge, but I think you try to find ways on how it will work for both parties, for parents and also for the teachers. Okay, then it will work on that way. So how to focus on this or focus on what teacher and parent have in common, go back and analyze back the expectation, talk back about the expectation. It might not possible for Alif maybe to achieve these things. Why? And then looking back or analyze back what are the strength of the family that will be able to make whatever you you plan for the child will be able to be achieved. Okay, and meaningfully involve the family. Okay, so to make all the family members, to make parents to involve is already a challenge. And how about to make all the family members to involve? But I think this has been practiced in other developed countries, and we can see the successful of it, towards the child progress. But I think having to say that we have a different, like the demographic or socio-economic background is quite a challenge to make all the family members involved. But always remembers that there is one size does not fit all when we talk about parent-teachers collaboration. Okay, and then we also should value, or we should also acknowledge the variety of parental involvement. I think that is a good idea as well. I think a good practice that we may take it or adapt it in our culture. Okay, where I think Dr. Hill mentioned in their child in her child schools, they have like a different role in terms of parent involvement. There are a problem solver, there are other things. Okay, if I can get it just now. So I think look at the parental involvement as well, because I think not parents have the right or have a times to really like involve fully. There are parents that can involve fully, but there are parents only can involve only they can contribute only a little time to the child development and so on. Okay, parents need to involve with the school. True, I agree with that. I think this is like the even like the main problems that we are looking at. Okay, to make parents involved, and in order to make the parents involved, these are the things that you need to consider. Okay, looking at the variety of parental involvement. What type of parental involvement that if you already find out, so it's good if you can have like a profile for each children that you have in class. Okay. So you have a profile of the children in your class, looking at, and in this profile, you need to analyze the socioeconomic background, the strength that the family possess, and so on. So from there, you can decide how much parental involvement, even though we want them, to have the equal involvement between the schools and teachers, but sometimes it's not doable. But at least what is doable that you can do. So by analyzing those factors, it may make, or it may lead us towards like more meaningful parent-teachers collaboration. Okay. So I think I already come to the end of my slide. Yeah, so this is some of the quotation slide. Children are the priority, change is the reality, and collaboration is the strategy. So we are here basically to look at the strategy to have a better collaboration despite whatever challenge that we have. Okay, analyzing the challenge that we have within our context, but it's basically the best strategy that we can do to our children. All right, so that basically end of my session. But I think I'm going to brief you about what we are going to do this afternoon. after our break session. There will be, okay. So for this afternoon session after our break, there will be a group activity. So I think what organizer will do, they will divide you into a breakout room. Okay, so that will be handled by the organizer. But there is, let me stop sharing this one first. Okay. So this afternoon, there is no more like presentation. It's more on the hands-on activity, but you have to work in a you have to work in a team. Okay, so it's a teamwork. So you will be divided into a small group. Okay, and then there will be a group activity that we would like you to do. And later on, we're going to have presentation as well. So I hope when you divide the group, later on you can decide, you can choose one leader and to coordinate the group. Okay. For the afternoon session, for both days, we are going to have hand-ons like sharing. But this, I think, with the group activity on the day one, is basically the presentation maybe will be continued until the day two. Okay. So towards the end, after you finish the group work, it should be a presentation from you. So at that time, I can hear participants, you now taking the floor to talk. All right, let me share this one. Actually, the materials for the group activity, you can take from the all right. Okay, Dr. Hill, it's already like 7 p.m. over there. I have to go home, take care of my exceptional children. Okay, thank you so much for being here. I think she left already, but I think we got many good insight from her. All right, let me share this one. Group activity. So these are the group activities. So it's about establishing meaningful relationship with families. Okay, so we just what we like to do is like from your own experience and from your own practice. So when you sit together with your group members, maybe you will have a different countries group members. Go and analyze the problems that you have within your context. Okay, and you need to outline the framework. What is the best way in order to create or to establish the meaningful relationship? Okay, so outline a framework, how basically you feel the best that can suit us in the developing countries. Okay, we are in the developing nations, about going to have a meaningful relationship with the families and also the schools. Okay, I'm also give you in the drive, I think already put in the drive, one articles written by Mary Sawyer, say about the connecting families to facilitate and enhance involvement. So she already came up with one framework, one model, which stated like bridges, how to bridges between parents and teachers. So what you need to do is to read the articles, to analyze and to see how basically those things can happen in our context. Okay, so you need to come up with the framework, and that framework will be presented later. Maybe we cannot, I don't know how many groups that we're going to have after this, but I think after we divide the group later on in the afternoon, we're going to know how many. So you are given about maybe 40 minutes to 45 minutes for this group work to come up with this framework, outline the framework about enhancing the meaningful relationships. And later on, you are going to present. So maybe we cannot do like all presentation by today. Will be selected. I just leave it to organizer later on how to select who's going to present first. So there will be a presentation later on. Maybe today we have few groups present and we will continue the presentation tomorrow.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay. So we have already shared, Harisha has already shared the training materials, the link to the training materials. So please click on that for you to access. Doctor, would you like to wrap up the session first before I make a few announcements?
All right. Okay. So I think I hope within these like 3 hours we're together. So we learned from earlier about some overview of collaboration or collaborative partnership between parents and teachers, and we know the importance of it. Everyone knows. I believe that everyone's here are aware about the importance. But now we are here basically to learn more about how basically we can go about to develop a more or a meaningful parent-teacher collaboration. And by acknowledging or by understand what are the struggles of the family or what are being facing by the families, it could be one of the protective factors that may contribute to the successful of collaboration between parents and teachers. So in the second session, we learn about the emotional reactions toward disabilities that may hinder the successful or the healthy parent-teachers collaboration. And I get to know from many participants here, you want to know the family backgrounds, but maybe all this while you are not talking about it. So just think about maybe how to go about putting more empathy and understanding, knowing or get to know more the families that have special education needs students. Okay, and then we learn also the changing of the family roles. So this could be another demands, okay, to the parents, okay, and also another demands, and also this also can be another barriers towards successful parent-teachers collaboration. And also there are other associated factors that come along with the community around, the stigma that we have around us, with the systems that maybe it's hard for us to change. So on our part, what basically we can do about it, at least, on our individual level or our school system. Okay, so I think in the end, we already have a look and we learn about some of the suggestion or key recommendations from the empirical evidence and studies about how to build a positive parents family engagement or parent-teachers collaboration. So I hope that with all that information that you have, it will help you to sit down together with the group members later on and to analyze from your own experience or from your own setting, how basically we can have or we can establish ways in order for us to have more meaningful parents teachers collaborations. So I think that basically my wrap up for today's session. Puan Suhaila, I pass it to you.
Thank you, Dr. Kartini. Well said. I really appreciate all of your inputs this morning. And we have a continuation in the afternoon session. To our participants in Zoom, please come back at 2 o'clock Malaysia time for us to continue with the session. And now when we come back later, we'll have just a short briefing before we send you to your respective breakout rooms. Okay, there'll be 10 breakout rooms altogether, and we will let you know once we come back after the break. And also to our viewers on YouTube and Facebook, thank you for joining us. Unfortunately, you are not able to join the breakout room session, so we have to end the YouTube and Facebook live streaming now, and we hope to see you again tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock Malaysia time. So with that, Thank you to our Facebook and YouTube viewers and to our Zoom participants. I'll see you later at 2 o'clock. Thank you, everybody.
Okay, see you.
See you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.
Okay, have a nice lunch break, everyone.
Yeah, you too. Yes, 2 p.m. Malaysia time. All right. Thank you, teachers.